Take me on home to the asylum. Never alone in the asylum. Anarchy ruled, it was wild, but through it all you never smiled. Joke's on you, I'm in your head, so look who's laughing now. Remember in Arkham City, I killed your girl, so pretty. That was the night you let me die. But when I looked you in the eye, that's when I knew we'd be together. Look who's laughing now. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I feel you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I am the clown, prince of crime. And we've had a hell of a time. You're part of me, I'm part of you. And now there's nothing left to do. I just can't wait till I'm in control. Who'll be laughing then? I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. Oh yeah. Think I can taste your fear. Now that my time is near, I'm in your blood, I'm so alive. I only wish you'd let me drive. It won't be long till I make you kill. Who'll be laughing then? Barbara's dead and I'm laughing. Ah! Jason Todd's dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm even dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. I'm cock-a-doodle-doo. All because of you. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I fill you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. I filled you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another lovely day. Lovely stream. I don't know. I didn't have anything else to back that up. How's everybody doing? Everybody feeling good? I am excited to play some Star Citizen. We have a slight problem though, because now the game is launching in this weird cropped view. You see this overlap up here. The game leaks over into the second monitor a bit. And if I do the good old Alt-Enter, it briefly gets correctly scaled, but then it snaps back to this thing where then it zooms in on the top left corner and runs like 3 FPS and you can't click the options button. So you know what? Maybe, hold on. Oh, actually, no. So this Maybe the capture card is getting it in 4K and that's causing issues. Hold on. So we'll try this. Okay. And then I go here. Nope. That's what I see as well. This is all I see. Ah. 3 frames per second. So yeah, it's because I went from like 4K down to 1440p. There's a way to like edit the INI file, right? That's a thing, right? That's a thing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we need to protect Mark Hamill. Yeah, for sure, dude. Mark Hamill is the GOAT. We lost Batman. Now we have the Joker still, but oh man. Okay. I totally have a very legitimate copy of The Simpsons Hit and Run in my collection here as well. Where's RSI? There it is. Star Citizen, live, bin, user, launch, log, manifest. Right, there's got to be one of these. Delete the game.config in the users file. Okay. Game.config. I'm going to copy it and paste it somewhere else just in case you're trolling me. I don't think you are, but you never really know. Okay, we'll delete that. And then we'll try launching again. Just in case, you know? You never know with chat. You never know with chat. I would love to say that everybody's always being legitimately helpful, but sometimes people throw out, like when we were landing and then the one guy was like, oh, tap U to do the auto landing, which shuts off all power to the ship. So I would have instantly crashed. Sneaky. Yeah, we do a little trolling.
We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling.
It's called we do a little trolling. If you delete System 32, it'll work. Does Windows actually let you do that? I've heard people say that. But does Windows actually let you do it? I don't know if I... Oh, well, that's something. Okay. The screen's back. That's good. Just a little trolling. I've done it. Well, try and find out. Guy, we'll do it as like a Mr. Beast video. Guys, today I'm going to be totally destroying my PC. It's going to be really funny. And I'm going to give myself $5,000 if I haven't destroyed it completely. If I don't destroy it completely, then I'll only get $3,000. Use honey. Promo code Mr. Beast. Okay, we're getting there. Maybe. That did not work. Let's try Alt-Enter again. I have a thought for how I could fix it. Oh, that allowed us to go windowed. I just have to like move the window around to get to each button. That's so stupid. Okay. Graphics, resolution 2560 by 1440. Yes, keep settings. And then we said full screen or borderless. Which was better? Borderless or full screen? I don't remember what we had it on. Yeah, Star Citizen is free to play for the next 2 weeks. Wild Hearts I think looks interesting. I don't know if I'm like sold on it because parts of it look really cool and fun. Mixing like Fortnite with Monster Hunter. I could jab with that, but like graphically it looks kind of like a Switch game. I don't know. I'm very iffy on it. I want to play this again so bad, but my 2060 just can't. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Yeah, did you guys see the video that went up on the main channel 2 days ago, whatever? And now we're locked at 60 frames. Why are we locked at 60 frames? I have VSync turned off. Is that just a menu thing? I've got to have something weird in my NVIDIA drivers, because one of the other games I was playing yesterday for a review was capping at 60, and I don't have anything turned on. It must be something like that. I don't know. But if you guys saw the video that went up a couple days ago on Thursday, yesterday, I guess, where we played Star Citizen, I logged in casually and somebody had given me 35 million in-game credits. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The comments on that video, somebody accused you of being sponsored by CIG and they lost all respect for you. Dude, that's funny. I haven't seen that comment. I don't know. It is funny. Like, some people, one of the things I try very hard to do is never get married to an idea, so much so that you cannot admit when you think you were wrong, or when there's something new that came to like into view that changed your perspective on things. And I just think some people don't know how to handle that. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't like this game and now I like it. Like the Days Gone. Initially, I really hated Days Gone. And then by the time I finished it, and then it ended up being probably my favorite game of that year, of 2019. And I made a video saying I was wrong about Days Gone. I was wrong. I love it. It's really good. And people were like, oh, wow. Okay. How much did they pay you to say that? I was like, nothing. I genuinely changed my mind. Is that so hard to believe? But like, people can't fathom it. People can't fathom it. Why would anyone not like Days Gone? It had a lot of technical issues at launch. And like, here's the thing. A lot of people, maybe this sounds weird, but like, very few people, I think, genuinely think and ideate their perspectives by themselves in a vacuum. And it's normal. Like, you listen to somebody like a news broadcaster, and the news broadcaster describes what's going on, and that kind of frames your view. Or you watch a YouTuber describe something like, you know, this game, I really don't recommend it. I think it's blah, blah, blah. And people will be like, okay, so it's terrible and it's bad. I shouldn't play it because of that. Okay. It's like, no, like that's that YouTuber's opinion. If every YouTuber agrees on that, odds are pretty high that it's probably meh. But like, that's not necessarily the case, full stop. Like, people just, it's not so you have to play every game or try every game to see what you actually think of it. But it is to say that I think there's a real perk and benefit to thinking for yourself a little bit. And people just don't know. I mean, people say they like it when reviewers think for themselves, or critics do. But then when they do, or they change their minds, they freak out. So it's like, yeah, I made fun of Star Citizen a lot. And I still will continue to make fun of Star Citizen a lot, because it's kind of funny. There's stuff going on here. Like the idea that $500 million is raised and they haven't had an official release. Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Can we, like, let's admit this. We can still enjoy the game, but we can acknowledge that that's a little silly, right? It doesn't have to be so serious. We're talking about video games, people. It's okay. You know? And like the guy that went in and like compared Star Citizen to smoking cigarettes. And he's like, at least it's not smoking cigarettes. That would be a much worse addiction. At least that would be bad for my health. It's like, okay, he just compared Star Citizen to cigarettes. That's objectively funny. And on that video stream highlight thing we did, all of the Star Citizen fans that like are more level, they watched that and they're like, yeah, that was a little kooky. I get what he was trying to say, but yeah, I don't know. I did feel kind of bad. That guy, he ended up seeing the video, which like, I don't care. He posted that comment publicly and we read it. You posted it publicly. I don't know what to tell you. And I don't think we were like overly mean. We just said that was like kind of a ridiculous thing to say. If you say something ridiculous, yeah, we'll say it's ridiculous. But he saw it and then I saw the comment. He tried to make it out like we took him gravely out of context when we read the whole message. He's like, you pass it off as a personal message, and I didn't. I said in the video that it was posted to the Discord. So like, I don't know. Just take the L. Take the L, man. Like, again, laugh it off. Like, yeah, okay, maybe comparing it to being like, at least it's not cigarettes. Maybe that wasn't the most compelling argument, you know? But I don't know. Some people are just funny. Some people are just funny, man. I'm glad that he has found something he really enjoys, but that was a weird way of defending it, because I really don't think that was the most compelling thing he could have done. True Star Citizen fans will recognize CIG's mistake. Well, and it doesn't, this is like I've said with the PlayStation stuff, the Xbox stuff, Bethesda stuff, it doesn't do anybody any good to bravely and sanctimoniously defend a like multi-million-dollar company who doesn't care about you. You're just a wallet to them. It doesn't do you any good to pretend as though these problems aren't there. Like, it's the same thing with the Bethesda fanboys, where they are like, no, Starfield's going to be like totally amazing. Of course, it's going to be amazing. It's like, no, it could be amazing, but it won't necessarily be amazing. But like you saying that, well, Fallout 76, you're like, okay, it was kind of evil what they did. They like straight up scammed their customers. People are like, okay, well, but like the game's a lot better now. Okay, but did they scam their customers? Well, no, but they worked really hard on making it better. If you can't admit that, like this is some sort of weird religious, like you refuse to acknowledge problems because you're so married to the idea you don't want to consider you could be wrong. And you just got to be a little more flexible than that. And it ends up making you look like kind of crazy. And that's the thing, like, I think you can defend something like Star Citizen and encourage people to play it. I think you easily can do it. I mean, I just did a video on it yesterday doing that very thing. But I'm not going to ignore the problems, right? Like, I'm going to acknowledge the problems. And then, like, people can take that and be like, okay. Just like in the video where we go down to the planet and we went down to an area where we can't land because it has stuff on it. So it's like, okay, I'm going to keep this in the video. I could cut it out to make it look better while just saying, you can go anywhere on that planet. I'm like, yeah, you can't go anywhere. You can't land on it because they don't allow you to. But you have to acknowledge the realities. Otherwise, you lose all credibility, you know? And people will jump on it and pounce on it, you know, if they catch you simping, which is just funny. Gryffindor wins. Gryffindor wins. Ah, see. It's like Gryffindor wins. Oh, yeah. Gryffindor wins. Honestly, this inability to step outside the box and see it from a different perspective, other than Sanctimonious fanboy. Yeah, it's crazy. I agree. And it doesn't do anybody any good. And that's my broader point is if you really like a game, awesome. Great. I love that. I love that for us. You know, I love that for us. But just because you really like the game does not mean it's immune from problems. And it also does not mean that you should not acknowledge the problems present. And especially if your goal, like you kind of have to wonder what some of these people's goals are. Like, say, we'll take, again, Star Citizen as the example. Well, maybe we'll take it outside of Star Citizen. Let's go with something like, I don't know, let's go Cyberpunk 2077 as it stands now. People say, oh, Cyberpunk 2077 is a really great game. And I can say, okay, well, it had tons of performance issues at launch, did it not? And does it not still have performance issues? They say, well, the story's really good, though. Like, again, right there, they pivoted away. They don't want to acknowledge the problem. They just want to pivot off to something that they can talk positively about. It's like, oh, no, I saw what you did there. And, you know, it's very sneaky fella, very sneaky boy. And so, like, in that case, are they trying to... it's not working. Like, are they trying to win you over? I don't know why these links aren't working, Rocky. For some reason, when you put links in the YouTube chat, if I click on them, they don't work. It's weird. I don't know. I'll go to a random background music thing. I can do that. I did see that message. I just forgot to queue it up. Let's do, oh, that's the wrong keyboard. Oops. Let's do rainy day music. Royalty free. Of course. Of course. I would use my own music that we created under Rhapsody Stream, if you guys remember that company. However, a company out of, I think it was Australia, stole all of the music and has added it to all of their lists and started copyright striking people who use it. I could sue the ever-living crap out of them because I own the rights to the music. However, it's going to end up costing thousands upon thousands of dollars to claim that and to do that. And Rhapsody Stream has only ever generated like $150. So it just doesn't really make sense to do that, you know, doesn't really add up. Oh yeah, calm, groovy. So that's why we're not doing Rhapsody Stream. It's really painful. Let's see. The one thing I'll say about Star Citizen is that, or after seeing Luke play it, is that it's more ambitious and successful in being than a lot of games nowadays. Yeah, it tries a lot of things, but I mean, again, like going back to what I was saying, you just have to wonder what people's goals are when they refuse to acknowledge the problems. And so, not to say everybody has a goal necessarily, but sometimes, like with the people who defend, say, Cyberpunk incessantly and refuse to acknowledge errors and mistakes and issues, those individuals, they're not necessarily trying to convince you that you should play it or that the game is good. They're trying to convince themselves that they're not irrational for liking it, which is silly because you can be irrational and irrationally like games. That's okay. I would even argue that most people who like Death Stranding like it irrationally. I'm one of those people. I kind of like Death Stranding, but I can acknowledge that like every element of it is kind of stupid. The story is ass. The writing is too verbose and it's translated poorly. The acting is horrible. And like the gameplay is basically a UPS delivery simulator. None of that sounds like it should make a good video game, but I still enjoy it. But I will acknowledge that it doesn't make sense and that each of those elements have problems. And I can still enjoy the game. The devs themselves acknowledge the issues of the game. What does that say about the individual denier? Yeah. Well, and it's one of those issues that is not just relegated to video games, but it's all over the place with everything. I compared it earlier to like how a lot of people handle protestations and rebuttals to whatever various like cult-like political belief they might have or religious belief, you know, that might be contradictory to something else. Like I grew up in a household that thought that, you know, dinosaurs walked around with man like 3,000 years ago. That's what I was taught growing up. And like that the Great Pyramids of Giza might have been built with the help of dinosaurs pulling the bricks up and stuff. Like that's the kind of household I grew up in. And like that clearly is in direct contradiction to like all scientific studies, historians, archaeology, science, like just full stop. Like it's just not true. But growing up, like when people would be confronted with that, they would just like shut it down. Like it's just, no, you don't talk about that. Like, yeah, the guys that think dinosaurs lived millions of years ago, yeah, no, they're kind of, yeah. You just don't acknowledge it. Don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Ignore it. And it's the same kind of thing. Like you just have to be a little more willing to acknowledge the problems and embrace the positive, because you'll have more credibility. Thank you, Random Roger, for the $5. Appreciate you.
Random Roger donated $5 through Super Chat. With SC, there are those that are white knights, and there are those who wanted to fail just to say I told you so. So weird. Yeah, and I think a lot of it, and this is why I've been trying in, like, especially the video from yesterday. Somebody's looking at me. Do you see that?
somebody, like, it's important to not be the crazy simp. Because it doesn't get you anywhere. And like, if you want to have credibility with people, you have to be willing to acknowledge the faults. Because when you see some of these people who are like so crazy, sycophantic with whatever the game may be, you can't have a conversation with those people. It's impossible. It's like miserable. So, okay, is there an actual issue with this game or with this or that? Well, no, but the game is really good. Okay, but is there an issue with this game? No, but like, I really like it, and you just don't understand it. Okay, that's not what I asked. Is there a problem? Like, whenever you're talking to somebody and they refuse to acknowledge basic issues, then you should be worried about how credible they are, because they're probably not credible. And yeah, if somebody is going to be ridiculous and like irrational, I just don't know why you bother talking with them, you know? Like, you're not going to get anywhere with it. It's a waste of time. It's part of the reason, like, those types of YouTube, like you guys referenced earlier, the YouTube comment that's like, oh, clearly Luke was sponsored by the Star Citizen devs to make this video. And I'm like, no, that wasn't. Like, I could pretty easily prove that to you. Like, or I guess maybe I can't easily prove it to you because it's like a positive claim, or it's a negative claim, so I can't prove a positive claim, you know? So I guess I couldn't easily prove it to you. But yeah, well, how much do they pay you? I think what they were suggesting was that the 35 million credits was sent to me by the Star Citizen devs to promote it. Which, like I've said before, these I tried videos, oh, thank you. Groovy.
Carrie West donated $5 through Super Chat.
Appreciate
Where
you.
in Colorado are you? Not asking for specifics, or even city, but Western Slope. Mountains? Metro area? Curious cuz I'm a Denver boy myself.
Well, first of all, thank you for the $5. Very generous. Appreciate you. I have lived pretty much the entirety of my time in Colorado. Has been like up around Fort Collins, Loveland. Lived in Loveland for like a year and a half. Went to college in Fort Collins. Grew up mostly in Fort Collins. So that's where most, like, I would say Fort Collins. Like, I won't say specifically, of course, but northern Colorado for sure is the best way to do it. Describe it. Doxed. Lols. I've taken very active steps to try and limit how much people could reasonably know. And now that I've said that, somebody's probably going to figure out exactly where I'm at. But we try very hard. Just because I've got a wife and a kid now, so it's not fun and games anymore. Like, if somebody showed up randomly to my college house, we had a baseball bat by the door. We had pepper spray, like the industrial stuff for bears and banshees, set right up by the door, because we were also dealing with like a stalker situation at the time. By the way, if I haven't told you guys about the stalker thing, I don't know how much I can say. I can't talk about the specifics of the case, I don't think, because it hasn't gone to trial yet. But the guy has an arrest warrant out for him. It was issued back in like May, and he's been totally off the grid. No one has found him yet. He's probably in California. Probably. We're not totally sure, which is a little scary. But the guy was like, no, you can't get the cops involved. Like, you'll never get the cops involved with anything. I was like, watch me. And we got the cops involved, and now he's looking at 5 years in prison. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. After the trial comes out, I'll share like the specifics. We'll do a whole video on it. I'll share all the details, all the messages, all the crazy stuff. It's going to be like front page of Reddit because it's so outrageous. Like, just you wait. It's insane. Whatever you think it is, however crazy you think this person is, it's even crazier. Like, it's ridiculous. This guy was so delusional. He really hated AC Odyssey then. Yeah, basically. Nah, it was... Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I want to share info about it so bad because it is thoroughly entertaining. But it's also like a little terrifying at just how delusional somebody is. It's like those Reddit, what is it? r/ like nice guys. It's one of those things. It's going to be one of those things. Like where he seriously has zero self-awareness. And it's thoroughly entertaining. You really love Valhalla? Probably. Does seem like one of those types. Delusional? Likes Valhalla. Makes sense. Thank you for the $10, Roger. Thank you. Very generous.
Random Roger donated $10 through Super Chat. Fair warning, Luke. Jumping in during IAE, there's going to be lots of more traffic than usual, so server stability is going to be iffy. FPS as well.
Yeah, thank you for the heads up. I've noticed that just while getting to the spaceport here before we kind of get going. It's chugging. It's like we're playing at a lower resolution at 1440p. And weirdly enough, our GPU utilization is bouncing between like 50 and 70%, and frames haven't gone above like 65, even though we should be able to get to like 80 with this rig and the settings where they are based on what it did like last week when I tested this. So it's definitely struggling. Well, I don't think it's a resolution or a hardware problem, Crimson. Like I said, we're only at like 58, 60% GPU utilization. But what I think it probably is that there's a bottleneck with the network and the servers where it's pinging off of those, and that's what's kind of eating up frame rate timings and stuff. 4090, no, not yet. CPU utilization's only at 50%, 40 to 50. No, the 4090, they wanted to wait to send it because they wanted to make sure that they weren't sending something that would melt and explode. Because if you haven't seen it, basically the 4090s have to use a special converter pin thing, cable to your like power supply unit. It's like a whole thing. But some of those converter adapter things have been melting and like starting fires. And so the company I'm working with for this new PC, they didn't feel comfortable sending a like 4090 PC build thing until that was remedied, which I can appreciate. It's like, yeah, I don't want to start a fire. Like, thank you for not sending me a fire hazard. I was like, that's great. Yeah, bring it on. Let's see. CPU, what am I pairing with it? It will be a 12900K, I believe. We went Intel this time for the CPU. On this PC, I'm running a 5950X. And it's been great. There's like, I got it mainly because this is also, it was my video editing workstation. But I've since been like, I haven't really felt the need for that, you know. I haven't really felt the need to edit videos since I've got the team working on it now. I hired a whole dedicated team just to cut together TikToks, by the way. It's like a whole thing. They went, maybe I'll show you. I think I can show you actually. I'll hop in. Maybe I'll get cruising. Maybe I'll get cruising and then I'll show you the the video that they cut together based off of the I Tried God of War video we did, because like they went pretty ham. I am not good at TikTok. I'm not good at any of the short form social media stuff. Full clarity, I will admit it. I am not good at it. But that being said, these guys, it's literally all they do. They do all of like the highlights for Joe Rogan highlights. They do all of the highlights for like Mr. Beast, and they go hard. And so they are the specialists. So I am trusting them. And let's just say they made a lot of creative choices that I found funny and that I was not ready for. And that I am not prepared for. So, Luke, should I buy Miles Morales on PC? If you want to play the game, yes. It is the definitive place to play the game, without a doubt. It's a really solid port. It's well optimized. It's polished. I didn't notice any like major hitchings or issues. It's just really good. You know? It's really, really good. Like, am I twerking at it? Yeah, exactly. So I do recommend it. It was very generous of PlayStation to send that over. I'm happy to say we've got a good relationship with PlayStation going. It's taken years of me toxically emailing them incessantly, asking for like access to the reviewers list, and it's been a whole thing. And we finally achieved it, and we're finally like on the list. It's crazy. It's like an actual dream come true. But we did it. You know, we made it. Cloak, a 9-hour road trip to Florida. Dude, that's intense. I'll be real. Am I the only one that feels this way? I feel like I like the idea of field trips until I'm like 2.5 hours into them. You know, I like the idea of just being able to listen to podcasts and things while driving and just take it in slowly, look at all the sights and the scenery and stuff. I can appreciate that. But like, I don't know, once I'm in it, I just really, I lose that interest. I think a Tesla would change it. A Tesla would probably change it. Or it might make it worse, honestly. Like, people were saying that the Tesla is not actually the best road trip car because it has the autopilot thing, but the autopilot thing only works insofar as you have like your hands on the wheel. You have to keep your hands on the wheels, which kind of defeats the purpose of the autopilot, because it's like, okay, well then why, like, what's the point? You know, like, okay, it can drive itself if I'm still holding. It's like teaching your kid how to ride a bike, and then it's like, yeah, I can ride my own bike now, but you need to like be holding my hand while I ride. It's like, okay, well then you're not riding the bike. Like this, you're still relying on me. It's not the same. Okay, I shall visit again. I'm not a fan of that, you know? So once they get the actual self-driving stuff figured out, I'll be much more inclined to try it, I think. But as of right now, I'm just really, I don't think it would actually solve a lot of the problems I have. Because it would be like just convenient enough that it's nice that it's steering and keeping you in the lane, but it would be annoying since like you'd have to constantly be slightly paying attention. Like if I could just turn my brain off and pull out like my Steam Deck or like a laptop, that would be great. But they want your hand on the wheel and they want you like actually paying attention, and I'm just not interested in that. I want to zone out. You know? If I'm paying 80 grand for a car, I should be able to put myself in danger. That's why you buy a nice car, is to almost get in serious trouble. Let's see. You need an SSD, Rocky? I don't have any spare NVMe SSDs, but I do have a 1 terabyte. What is it called? I don't have it down here, I don't think. I use it for my Ninja 5 Atomos to record footage, so it's literally the fastest SATA SSD you can buy on the market. But I had just upgraded to a 2 terabyte when we were reviewing God of War, and now I just have a spare one laying around. So instead of a game, Rocky, if you just want that SSD, let me know, and we can figure out how I could ship it to you. Because as of right now, it's like it's sitting on a bookshelf, and I'm not using it. I'll use it like once in a blue moon when a console game comes out for me to review that I want to record footage on. But the 2 terabyte can hold 5 hours of footage, so yeah, we can do that. I've tried to buy Rocky things, Crimson. He doesn't let me. Like, I wanted to buy him a game as a thank you for modding during these streams, and he disabled all of his like giftings on all of his gaming accounts. So even if I tried to sneakily gift him something, I can't. It's infuriating. Luke using storage as a bookmark, that's a flex. Well, it's because like I was reviewing God of War Ragnarok, and obviously the game is huge and there's a lot to do. And I wanted to play it upstairs because I had like 2-3 days to blast through it. And so I had to really work on it quickly. And as a result, like, I wanted to sit on the couch, be able to watch Lachlan while he plays and still play the game and record it up there. And the only way I can do that was with my Ninja 5 Atomos thing that requires an SSD, an actual SSD to record to. And so I was using that, but the 1 terabyte could only hold like 2 hours of footage. But the thing is, to offload it off of the SSD, you have to transcode it down to a lower bit rate. And in order to do that, it takes like 5 hours to do 5 hours of footage. It's like a whole thing. So it's not actually that simple. So I just ended up upgrading to a 2 terabyte, but that's my story. Can't log into Star Citizen, the servers are full or something. Jeez, man. I haven't even checked. I don't know. The chat doesn't seem to be overly full or crazy. It seems pretty normal. Relog in and hope servers. Diesel? I don't know. Or decent maybe is what he meant. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see. Not holding it though, just hover your hands over the steering wheel for 3 seconds and she continues the autopilot. Autopilot will prompt you to touch every 30 to 45 seconds. Is it true you can put like a golf ball? Like a golf ball kind of crammed into the steering portion? I saw somebody do that where they put a golf, or maybe it's a tennis ball, they put it in there and it thought that a hand was on the steering wheel, so they were able to drive it. I know that's not allowed and like that's against policy, but I don't think they could stop you from doing that. You know? I don't know. I like the Teslas, but the other thing that I really love, and I didn't know this until maybe you guys, maybe I'm the weird one. I had never driven in like a stupid nice car. Okay, I've driven in some very nice cars, but like Nikki's stepdad has like a Roadster that's like a little red rocket is what they call it, and it like is super loud, very flashy. It's ridiculous. By the way, everybody, like the stream. It helps. It actually helps. Let's get it to like 75. I'll be happy. I'll be happy for a little bit. But like with that, I've driven in that thing. It's super loud. There's no roof or anything. It's just like a whole thing. I've driven, when I worked in commercial real estate, one of my coworkers let me ride back from a golf tournament we went to. And I rode in his, I don't know what it was. It was some sort of Audi something. I don't know anything about like fast cars or sports cars, but it was some sort of Audi car that was like, I think he said he paid $115,000 for it. So whatever $115,000 Audi is like, is what this thing was. And it was very fast. He drove it on the highway in Denver, got it going to like 130. I was not okay with it. It was a little terrifying. And I did not consent, but he did it anyways. And that thing was cool. It was loud though. And I wasn't that into it. But the one car, when Nikki and I got married, we had a Mercedes come and pick us up and then take us to the hotel, right? And it was like a 30, 40-minute car ride from... Oh, no! Oh, no! Damn it. That's a clip right there. I didn't consent, but he did it anyways. Okay, we'll try again. Yeah, man. I can tell this is going to be a thing. I'll just try it occasionally. Welcome to Star Citizen. But like that car, we rode in a like the nicest Mercedes you can get. Like the nicest. Oh, you need to restart after a 30K? Okay, we can do that. It was a ridiculously nice car. And I don't know if you've ever ridden in a car like that, but it is silent. Like it was like sitting in a sensory deprivation chamber. That's what it felt like. Thigh cam, it's more knee cam right now. Yeah. It was bizarre. Like we got in the car and we're driving at like 70 miles an hour and it is hear a pin fall on carpet silent. Like it was ridiculous. And it was at that moment where I realized this is why people pay so much for these cars. Because they're built so freaking well. The windows are like double insulated. The engines have like a low purr to them. The speaker systems are insane. Like it was amazing. It was freaking amazing. And so like, I look at that and I say, okay, I see the appeal of the Mercedes. Cause like, I don't need a car that goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Honestly, nobody does. I don't need that, you know, so the Tesla's cool that it can do that, but I don't know if I need that. And the one thing I have heard is that Tesla build quality is really poor. So I'm a little less about that. Let me see if I can pull up those TikToks real quick because it was pretty funny. It was just so different than what I was expecting or what I would have cut together when I cut together TikToks. I don't do this type of thing, so props to them. Original God of War and Elden Ring. There we go. Okay, let me pause this. Okay. You ready? This is it's outrageous. It is actually outrageous. Set it to 1x. So notice right from the title screen, there is epic music. Kratos is staring longingly. Flames going. It's so 2005. You gotta love it. Look at that. This Kratos. This bit I'm showing right here, this is what got this video age restricted on YouTube. This moment right here, because of what I'm about to say. Kratos, fresh pedicure.
Now there is no hope.
That's loud.
And
Sing with now.
death would be his escape from madness.
Relatable. Oh my god, cue the comment. The relatable thing is what got me struck. I know. We're not that bad. Oh, look at that swimming animation. Oh, it's great. I'm having fun. Can you tell? Did people in 2005 just have like unbelievable dexterity in their fingers and they could just button mash like no other? I seriously never thought we would get like soft locked in a game because the button mashing is broken while cloud streaming it. This is one of those moments I'm gonna go upstairs after filming this video and Nikki's gonna be like,
why are you sweating so badly? You were filming a video.
I don't want to talk about it. I was like, I wasn't ready for that. I was expecting like bare minimum, just like they took it, they clipped it, cut it down to a minute, and that was it. But they went pretty hard. Like the thing with Kratos jumping off, and then they make the KFC rats when they see the KFC deep fryer. Like, I just was I was not ready for it at all. They packed it full. And then this is the other one. This one's less outrageous. But it's still good. And I'm excited because it looks crack view. Okay, there's no crack. It's just my band. By the way, Tommy John's only underwear you should ever buy. I love it. It's the only stuff I wear. Pristine. It looks freaking pristine. Elden Ring Collector's Edition, still sealed from the factory. This is the one with the Millennia statue, the art book, the steel book. Who gives a crap about the steel book? Let's be real. So it's a pretty small Collector's Edition, but my primary interest is in this statuette and in the art book. This is this is a cooler box for a statue than I've seen in a long time. Does she really just hold the blade? Is that really what it is? I guess I thought there was like a handle, but no, she just holds the blade. But look at that. She is a looker. Like, not bad. I feel like that's just what TikTok edits are. Just hectic editing. Hey, man, I can't do that. I like would be way too self-conscious with these edits. I wouldn't be as bold as to do that. It's like in the Star Citizen video, the thing Jacob inserted. Hold on. This thing, where is it? It was late. You guys remember the part where Jacob interjected? Oh yes, this part with the part with Star Wars, where I said the ship looked familiar. This thing. Forget whose ship it was, but this looks like one of them. I don't recall whose it was or what it was called. I'm not a Star Wars guy. Oh, my face is covering my other face. Hold on. Whose it was or what it was called. I'm not a Star Wars guy.
The ship Luke was thinking of was the Millennial Falcon, owned by Dr. Maul, pictured here. The ship was first introduced in the companion book, Lego Star Wars: The Visual Dictionary, and was originally sold to Dr. Maul by Elmar Flegg for 32.5 tumpkins. For more Star Wars facts, please describe what a breast looks like in the comment section below.
You see, we can also buy... Can't see, like, this is why I love working on a team with like other editors and writers and stuff. Like it's just so great because I can put the video together and like be pretty happy with it, and then he can come along, or the TikTok editors can come along, and they just turn it into something outrageous and different, you know. And that's what I love it. Yeah, the Millennial Falcon. Yeah, that's what he called it. The Millennial Falcon. 32.5 tumpkins.
Ship Luke was thinking of was the Millennial Falcon.
The Millennial Falcon.
Owned by Dr. Maul, pictured here. The ship was first introduced in the companion book, Lego Star Wars: The Visual Dictionary, and was originally sold to Dr. Maul by Elmar Flegg for 32.
I like that it's trademarked too.
2.5 tumpkins. For more Star Wars facts, please describe what a breast looks like in the comment section below.
You see, we can also buy... Oh, it's just like... And you see me right back into it. I had no idea he was going to do something like that. He just like cut it in, and it's so good. It's so good. But like something like that, I would never cut that together myself. I guess I'm not that creative. My cable's all tangled. Come on. Oh, dude, I'm all wrapped up. Oh God. What do I spin? Do I spin? Nope, that was wrong. How is it like going under my feet? Yeah, that goes there, and then I roll over that. The big problem with wired headphones, ladies and gents, they get all sorts of tangled up. Oh, how did I get wrapped around my leg? Jacob's a younger brother. Yeah, younger brother. He started editing stuff for me. I had him start helping like around the probably Last of Us Part 2 video. I think that's the first one he ever worked on. Was he helped me with that. And he did very good. He did really good work. But it was a big process. It was like 20 notes. Like he would send me a 20-minute chunk, and then I'd have 10 things to say about it. He'd tweak it. Then we'd move forward, lock that down, move on to the next 20-minute chunk. Like it was a process, but it was because he was learning how I like things cut together. Because weirdly enough, I guess I do have a style. I have a lot of very specific things I want done in videos. Everything from 5% zoom ins that happen in between phrases and thoughts to at the end of sentences, things need to be restructured, camera angles changed. I need to have some movement involved. I have a lot of very specific things I want to see. And so it took him, I mean, it's been like 2 years of cutting together random videos for me before he got to the point where he can cut something together and like do exactly what I'm expecting. You know, so he got there eventually. But that's why when people are like, oh, we'll just come in and you can hire me to edit your videos for you. I'm like, it's not actually that simple. There's a little more to it than that. Even if you're great as an editor, there's my stylistic choices. Like, who was it? You guys had me watch the video of somebody who's some YouTuber who was doing like an Elden Ring video, and we checked it out, and it was just the most like toxic editing ever. Do you guys remember that? It must have been like, 3-4 months ago, but it was so insane. It was just like 50 edits, smoke effects, loud banging music. I don't remember who it was. Because like we watched 20 seconds of it and I was like, I have a headache already. And all of the comments were like, dude needs to like take some chill pills. Like this is insane. Do I still have my drink? Yeah, I do. I don't remember who it was though. It was me. Luke has a very particular lack of skills. I will never find you. I have no way of figuring out who you are or what you've done. Yeah, obnoxious editing. Like it was just way too much. But you know what? Like this is one of those things. If the video is cut together in a really obnoxious way, and it's just so many edits that it makes people go down to the comment section and start talking about it, that in and of itself could be a net positive because you're increasing engagement. Like it's weird, but that is a thing. Editing makes everything better. Some random YouTuber who has never edited. Sup, dude? Yeah, it's good to have your own style of editing, but I think it's like Steve Jobs said with technology, editing is at its best when it's invisible. I don't think you should think about it. There's the occasional like cool transition or cool edit that is maybe a net positive, but 95% of the time, if you like consciously are aware of the editing style and the editor's choices with YouTube videos, I would say, I think it's probably a net negative. But that's coming from a boomer like me. Like on TikTok, I think it's much more about the editing. Like you should go crazy with it, outrageous edits. Like you guys remember the trend from like a year ago on TikTok where it was all of these, like it was that piano, but with the do 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 do. And they would always cut it together with like a Warzone clip of somebody hitting sniper shots with like the dog humping the air on the do. You know, you remember those? That's a perfect example of videos that blew up, but would never work on YouTube nowadays. Like YouTube of 2006, that video is going viral. That's going to be like the next cat playing the piano thing, right? But like it's totally gone, and that type of video does not work on YouTube anymore, at least for going viral. If you can stretch that type of thing and concept into like a 10-minute video, you're probably set. You'll just be like a Fortnite streamer and YouTuber, and it'll work great, or a Minecraft dude. But TikTok, I think that's one of those things that's actually kind of fun about TikTok, is that it's made those old school style of videos like viable again, I guess, you know? Because for a long time, that style of content just wasn't, you couldn't find it. It wasn't being distributed. It just didn't work. I swear to God, if I have to file an insurance claim because of that server crash. No. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Hanger 11 again. I'm so glad I don't have to. I don't know what it is. I've never had to file an insurance claim for this ship before, but it's probably very expensive and would take a good while. Roger, thank you again. Very generous. You're coming in here with all the donos. Appreciate you, my friend.
Random Roger donated $10 through Super Chat. If you continue to play SC, do you see yourself buying any ship with real-world money? You can also earn ships from RSI just through the referral program, which are also permanent to your account.
It's a good question. I mean, what I've said before is like for freemium games, I'm not opposed to microtransactions to support the developer for something that I genuinely get enjoyment out of. Like for Apex Legends being free to play, I have no problem buying the season pass as a kickback to the devs because I genuinely love that game. So I'm willing to support them in that way. I don't think everybody should do that. If you don't have the financial stability to do that, obviously, you know, don't put yourself in that position. But I have no problem with doing that, and I think it's good to support devs of a game that you like. With Star Citizen, I already paid a $45 entry fee, and it's early access, and my like gut reaction is that early access, I'm more uncomfortable putting money up for that. The $45 thing as like a pledge to get access to it, I think is, for what's here, is fair, I think, honestly. But like, will I be spending chunks of change? I highly doubt it. Maybe, you know, if we make, we were talking about doing community streams with Star Citizen where like members of the channel can play with us. Cause I don't know if you guys were in here was it Monday that we did Star Citizen last Monday or last Friday? And like, we had some people in that were like a little toxic, and it got a little hectic with how many people were in here. So doing members only streams, I think, will help with that. And for members only streams, you know, maybe we'll do like the referral program. We'll do something like that. But honestly, I don't foresee spending, you know, real money on it. At least not until there's, I would say, greater stability. It's uncomfortable. I feel like $45 was fair for what I've got now. But then again, this is coming from a guy that has a bunch of random people throwing money at him in the game, even though he keeps telling people not to. So my experience with this game is not the standard experience, to be completely clear. Rocky, no, the Star Citizen streams appeal or bring in a totally different group of people. I have noticed that as well. And I think it's good because it gets a little more variability. It's nice to certainly see some fresh faces. But I do want to make sure that the regulars and old timers are also feeling welcome, you know, and have something that appeals to them. It's just a little tricky. Like, we were going to go through God of War Ragnarok, but I just totally underestimated the sheer number of people who didn't want to come into streams because they wanted to play the game for themselves. And it makes sense. Like, I get it. You want to play the game for yourself. I want to play the game for myself too. But I was really blown away at how it was, like, basically no one was coming out to those streams of God of War because of that. So we might go back and do that again. Frame rates are about to drastically improve once the December 3.18 patch comes around. Really? I haven't watched any of the updates or anything. I did set up a reaction thing so we can do stuff like that. Don't type and fly, kids. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh yeah, no, this is not. Don't do what I'm doing. This doesn't end well. 99% of the time. No, up. There you go. Okay. Let's see. You should share your referral code. I don't even know if I have one. I don't know if I have to apply for one. I don't know how that works. Super straight Southern guys. It's like, if you had to be one of the Sex and the City girls, which would you be? I ain't no Sex and the City girl. That is such a Samantha thing to say. It's freaking brilliant. Like, and how he keeps a straight face through all of it is just amazing. Like, oh, now he's too famous. He can't really get away with that type of thing anymore. But if you like, hold on. If you like that type of comedy, one of the other people you will really like is this lady who works with the BBC. She is freaking hilarious. It's a very similar thing. It's called Kunk on Earth. And she's able to just keep a total straight face while saying the most outrageous things.
1940 AD. France has fallen. Hitler has conquered Europe. Britain is on the verge of invasion. In the words of Bonnie Tyler, we're holding out for a hero. And unlike that song, originally recorded for the film Footloose starring Kevin Bacon, Britain got its hero. Winston Churchill. The first question is who or what is Churchill? The answer is who.
It's just so dry and like kind of stupid. The real question is who or what was Churchill? The answer is who.
He was born like most people and went to school. But unlike most people, he was also Prime Minister in black and white times, which was not a moment too soon because of a war. The war that would make him famous. War II. War II was like War I, but easier to understand because the baddie was better. Adolf Hitler rather than mud. Imagine what it was like in the war room on May the something, 1940. With Hitler's invasion of France a complete success, the debate was furious. Should Britain make peace or fight on alone? Although in this reconstruction, no one's arguing out loud because we can't afford equity rates. Leading the peacemongers was Lord Halifax. No one knows what he looks like, so we can have anyone play him and spend the money on a half-decent Churchill who wanted to keep on fighting. Some of Churchill's words are immortal. If the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour. And never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. If he'd been alive today, just imagine how good his tweets would have been.
Dude, she's so amazing. I got my brother Jacob into this. Oh, it's just so good. She is so freaking funny. I am all about it. All about it. Who is America? Is that, that's the, is that the other Sacha Baron Cohen one that he did? For some reason that name doesn't sound right. Is that what that is? Because if so, yes. And that was really funny. There's also another one called The Supporters. I actually found them through TikTok. But they do something similar where they go to like political rallies in the US and they talk to the attendees and get them to just say the most ridiculous things without realizing that they're being made fun of. And it's pretty funny. Yeah, that's the one. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but there was, what was it? This is, Who is America? Ambulance. I don't know if you guys ever saw this, but they were filming that. Do they not have it here? Basically, he was pranking a bunch of people, and maybe I just do Sacha Baron Cohen. He was pranking a bunch of people at a political rally, and so they rushed into an ambulance. Or I guess it was Borat 2. That's why it didn't sound right. But they went into the ambulance to escape. I need to pay a little attention. And they were like accosted. Yeah, this is what political rallies are like in the States. It's a little wacky. But they went into this ambulance to hide out after the prank was over, because people started trying to break in.
So I was going undercover, and so were they. They were there as...
Oh, they have a voiceover on it. But they had him go into this ambulance because these guys with all the guns and everything started trying to knock over the ambulance and break into it to... They were saying to tar and feather him is what they were chanting and things. Like, it's actually kind of terrifying. But, like, he stays in character for the first, like, 15 minutes of the assault. And then, like, you see this behind-the-scenes clip, and he's like, okay, yeah, maybe we, like, get out of here and hide.
And then the organizers...
Oh, they have it muted. And you see they start to break in, and he has to hold the door. Like, that's horrifying. This is while filming like a comedy film making fun of people. And he almost gets like executed by some crazy people at a rally. And it's because he was singing the, what was this song called? I don't know. It was kind of like reminiscent of the old school Borat thing that he would do. Like when he went and had everybody in the South sing that song, throw the man of Jewish heritage down the well. And he got all of these people singing along with him. And it's like, yeah, no, those are like real people. They're actually singing along to that. It's not a joke. There's the spaceport. Is it right beneath me? Is that? I've never been here, so I'm not. Yeah, this looks like the spaceport. There's the landing zone. So once I go down a little further, I should be able to request. Can I request now? Yes, I can. Don't crash, please. Okay. This is a cool city, though. This is really cool. Yeah, Blade Runner LA vibes for real, dude. For real. I've always said, like, people are always wondering what the future of video games is going to be. And I've been a proponent for a long time that I think the future is built on AI, not just for like realistic I have autopilot on. That's why it was giving me so much trouble. I was like, why? Stop it. And then I realized, oh, autopilot's on. Yeah, that explains it. But once you have accurate AI or like a really intelligent AI, what you can have it do is not just like control characters and NPCs, but you can also have it go and design these cities for you. Which is crazy to think that you could get there, but you actually will be able to get there. It's only a matter of time. I think that's good. It's a very expensive space yacht, so I want to be gentle with it. And gently down. Voila! Sup, Sophie? Good to see you. Announcement. For those of you experiencing 16,008 errors on launch, they seem to have been resolved now. Oh, good. Good. By the way, Hero Brian, we were looking at trying to find a... specifically a moderator who wants to be present during Star Citizen streams, and who also like understands the game. And you've always been present, and you're also like you've been kind of the level-headed one in the chat. We've noticed. So if you would like to, we would happily add you as a mod, and then when we play Star Citizen and stuff, you can be the party leader and you can kind of wrangle things from there. Because somebody was saying like it can often just be easier and safer for everybody to have somebody be kind of the party leader, head things up, and then handle that. You'd be honored? Good. We'd be honored too. Join the team. It's fun. We get to make fun of Rocky. Yeah, that's 90% of the job. Let's be real. Let's be completely real. Yeah, is that Clunk on Earth thing just the super dry humor? Is there anybody else you guys would recommend that's similar in vibe? Because I cannot get enough of that. She is all I want in the world. Boom. Mock the Week? I've not heard of that. Yeah, for me, it's the I don't know what it is, but the vibe of it is just like, yeah, if you're not paying close attention, you'll miss the joke because it comes so quickly and it's delivered so plainly. I just find that so hilarious. I find it so hilarious. Come to the UK. Oh, I had it on the schedule. We were planning on coming this coming September. I don't know if we'll manage it for a handful of reasons, but I really want to. We were supposed to come for our honeymoon, actually. And that would have been September of 2020. But we ran into like a handful of issues, predominantly COVID. That was the big one. Ladder. Oh, that's a sexy little ship. Look at that thing. Buy now, fly today. How much is this thing? Oh, they have a lost and found area. That's cute. What is, I'll ask you guys, what is the fastest ship? Like, what's the one that's, like, for exploring a planet, what's the fastest ship? If we wanted to keep it out of orbit, but just, like, zip around. Let's see. The game fully came out. Well, Bobcat, not really. Like, it's, you can play the game. But is it like done? Is it ready to go? No, it's still got a ways to go. But part of it is because, like, I think they could release what's here as a video game, and I think it would sell well. I think it would do just fine. But it's like I said in that video, I don't think there's any need to. Like, you really don't need to. Because they're still receiving all of this money, you know? Leandro, thank you. I'm glad to have you. It's always nice to see fresh faces. Appreciate you. IAE Hall and rent something. Okay. Incoming customs, screening areas, mass transit. I think we need to go to transit. Let's do that. Pardon me, excusey, pardon, excusey. Behind, not the trains. Central Business District. Ooh. Rapid Transit, Commerce Line, Station, Central Station, Metro Station. Should we just ride this and see where it goes? Are we wearing the same armor? We totally are. He's having trouble. I don't know what he's doing. That's weird. Oh, God. Okay. What's up, dude? Oh, it's a new Babbage? Oh, well, that explains it. Oh, did you see that? Oh, he's just taking off his helmet and stuff. Oh, he's changing his outfit because we match. Don't change your outfit. The armor is some event award I got a year ago or so. Oh. Look at those ears. Look at those ears. The business district feels kind of evil, like evil corporation. You know, I have a degree in corporate finance. It makes me feel right at home. You know? It's all too familiar for me. All too familiar. By the way, I want to hear from, like, regular people real quick. Hold on. I'm going to do a poll. In 1 month, Twitter will be... I want to know what you guys think, because everybody on all social media everywhere. It's like, oh, Twitter is going to be gone. Oh no. He's sleeping. We're here, dude. Oh, wow. I see what you mean. Like evil corporate. Okay, yeah, this is not the corporate finance I studied. This is way better. Where can I get a degree in this? Dude, I kind of love this. My goal is to one day have a 50-foot statue of myself made out of solid gold. Once I get that, I will know that I've made it. But only then. Until then, I don't think I've made it. I'll be real. That's pretty sexy, though. That's pretty cool. All these people. You look so sad. Notice how everybody's just standing facing one way. I keep doing this where I do the same thing. I come over here and I'm staring up at the statue and I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. And I take it in. And then I turn and all of the NPCs are doing the exact same thing. And I'm like, lol, not realistic. Granted, it's weird that these guys are staring at walls. That's a little odd. There's a mission giver here. Ooh. I could use one of those. This gives me like Halo mixed with Cyberpunk vibes. I think Halo because of the architecture, Cyberpunk because of the themes. The foundations I lay are so we may all stand higher. Archibald Hurston, 2618 to 2689. Okay. Really, 35% of you think that Twitter will be offline in a month. Really? That's actually low-key kind of surprising to me. Like, I'm not doubting you guys. Well, I am. I would guess Twitter's doing just fine. I don't see... Like, Twitter engineers are going on about how it's going to collapse in weeks. I don't see any evidence of that would, like, require that to have happened. I like the lore. Oh no, his helmet's freaking out. That's funny. But, like, this is what I genuinely am baffled by. People act like... It's so weird to me. Okay, so all of these people that are upset about Twitter and what's going on right now on Twitter are the same people who have been going on and on about how these giga tech corporations are toxic and evil, right? Everybody's saying it. They've been saying it for... Do you see the guy flying? That was funny. Everybody's been saying this for a very long time. But the moment that Elon Musk takes it over and spends $44 billion of his own money instead of like venture capital or some sort of weird highly leveraged thing, then they're like, oh, well, he's ruining all of these people's lives, all these very poor people. It's like, no, these tech people, like the average salary at Twitter is something like $180,000. That's the average. They're doing just fine, all of these engineers. And the thing is, all of these tech companies are majorly inflated. They don't need to be anywhere near as big as they are. You know, so I just genuinely don't know why people are freaking out and trying to like defend Twitter all of a sudden. It's like Twitter doesn't care. Twitter's never cared about you or anybody else. Like, and the whole premise of what Elon's trying to do is that he's like trying to cut the fat. And in the process of cutting the fat, he's definitely cutting some meat. He's getting rid of some important engineers accidentally. Because he thought that they would stay. But the whole premise is that Twitter was operating with way too many employees, and even then they were doing a really bad job. So, you know, it's like I've said for a while, if Twitter explodes and is offline in a month, I will be happy because then I will have a reason not to go on Twitter, and Twitter is horrible. So great, you know, no more Twitter. And if he saves it and Twitter ends up being great, awesome. It won't be the same Twitter we have now, you know? When when Elon fired Raul Ligma. That's when Twitter reached the point of no return. Yeah, for real. Do you know where the quest giver is? Thank you. Benno, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Thank you. He's flashing me. I'm being flashed. I don't see any clear... Oh, look at the lag, dude. Look at all that. So bouncy. It's like Cyberpunk with Johnny Silverhand at launch. This is how he ran around. Oh, Felic, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Oh, it's back here. I went the wrong way. Open the door. Sir? No, did I talk to you, sir? Sir? Did I just check his desk? Ooh.
Hey, welcome back. You'll be pleased to know that I gave you an excellent performance review on the last
What are you doing, dude?
But let's move on.
What are you doing?
Check the system. Seems we have a contract available. Here are the job requirements. Have a look.
Okay. Social. Oh, Jay Westlaw, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Go ahead and look it over.
He's really into this graph. Is it because he's already talking to him? Is that why I can't initiate anything? Luke, if you could pick...
To myself now.
I can't talk to you. You're facing a wall. Oh, you have to get a reputation with them? Okay, so I can't do it yet. Okay. If you could pick a studio to develop Star Citizen, who would it be? I pick CDPR. It'd be interesting with their experience and all of that. I don't know. The thing is, like, the premise of what they're trying to do has never been accomplished. Honestly, if they teamed up with, like, No Man's Sky devs, Hello Games, that could be interesting. Scrap waste. So if I load this up, where do I take it? Help me understand this, guys. I need your help. So the trading console, I can fill the ship with scrap. If I fill the ship with scrap, what is that? Like, where do I take it? Genshin Impact devs. Yeah, yes. Yes. There's a website for it. Can I post a link? Yeah, go for it. Hopefully it'll let me do it. Help me open it. Because recently the links haven't been working in chat. It's weird. Have you been to the expo yet? No, I think we'll head there right after this. Well, it's only 13,000. I'll purchase it, and so it's for trading. So presumably if we take it somewhere else, we can sell it. I would assume that's what they mean by it. Can run it to a random outpost for little to no profit. Oh, okay. Well, worst case scenario, I'll just dump it. I don't really care if I lose money. I mean, I paid 13,000 credits for it. Like, no, this way. Check the cargo area of your ship. You'll see the boxes there. Yeah. In the video from yesterday, we did like a whole tour of the ship. It was kind of fun. Obsidian devs. Oh, yeah. Well, that for Squadron 42, I think. But if we're saying like, I guess I just was initially thinking of who would develop the like persistent universe aspect. And for that, like there really isn't any dev that's done something quite on this scale. Closest is probably Hello Games. I think that's probably who you could point to, because they figured out how to do the procedural thing, but make it stretch a whole galaxy size and then like repeatedly do that. So I think you could manage that interestingly if you combine the tech, but I don't know how doable that is. Because right now, my understanding is Star Citizen is just this solar system for the persistent universe. I don't think there's any way to get out of this area. And that compared to No Man's Sky is nothing. You know, in terms of scale. No Man's Sky, there's something like 16 quintillion planets or something. Yeah, FPS combat and the AI for combatants isn't great. You're right. That's true. Do you think Starfield will have the same scale of this game? I mean, they claim the scale is bigger. They claim that there's over 1,000 planets that each have their own like biomes and cities and things. So they claim it's even bigger. I'm highly skeptical of whether or not they can pull that off in any sort of interesting way, especially because one of the big appeals of a sort of galaxy universe sim like this is being able to just freely explore flying around. And as far as I can tell, that's not a thing in Starfield. You can fly your ship around the planet, but if you leave the planet's orbit, there's a load screen. You know? So it's just different. It's just different. Yeah, No Man's Sky have many systems, but Star Citizen, they have more detailed planets. Yeah, well, like each of these people has, or each of these devs has like their own perk and their own thing they've figured out and done well. Thank you, Roger, again. Jeez, very generous. Thank you, my friend.
Random Roger donated $5 through Super Chat. Trading is a whole thing in itself. Buy low, sell high. Lots of resources to help. Mining is lucrative too, but very boring for some.
I honestly would see myself getting into the trading stuff, swapping commodities. Because especially if you have a big ass ship. Anyways, let's see. I think we went this way. The spaceport was back here. Spaceport, exit. Wait, exit, Tisa Spaceport. Okay. I went past it, I guess. If you have a big enough ship, you could probably just hold all of those things on your ship. There it is. Customs area. So, you know, you buy a bunch of stuff and you hold it until the price is adequate and where you want it to be. We got our little crew here. Look at this. Yeah, there we go. It probably, I guess I don't know where my ship ended. It's in Hangar 1. Hangar 1, boys! Hangar 1. Or grab your own ship, whatever. You need a Crusader C2 for good trading. You can make something like 130k per trade. Yeah, that's what we do have. We have a C2. Ah! Almost. Hangar 1. Since Fallout 76 was 16 times the detail, will Starfield be 17? Dude, if they come out and they say 32 times the detail, I will lose my mind. I will say we have been working on merch. I will say there's some cool stuff we're doing. I think people are going to be into it. I already have samples ordered. We went with a theme we discussed on stream. And I'm pretty happy with some of the designs. We are working on the mouse pads as well. Those are coming together. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for it. So just wait. Just wait, because we're gonna announce it hopefully in the next like week and a half. Because I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be so good. I've wanted to do like a sorted, high quality merch run for a while, and it just has never like really clicked. But this time it's actually coming together. Like I'm really pumped for it. Roger, geez, my friend.
Random Roger donated $10 through Super Chat. Second system is coming next year with version 4.0 in SC. I wanted to recommend if you keep playing to grab a HOTAS. I highly recommend the Logitech X56. It does leaps and bounds for immer.
HOTAS. I'm gonna hold on. Thank you, Matthew, also for the $1.99. I'm gonna look this up. How long is the stream today? Loving the Star Citizen content. We're probably going till like another hour and a half, I would guess. I have the baby today. Right now, Grandma is hanging out with the baby. So we're a little. Did I repress this? I don't remember. So we're juggling that, but probably an hour and a half, I would guess. Oh, the sticks, the flying sticks. That's what you mean. I see. These things. I could see how that would make flying pretty immersive. Where's a video of somebody using it? Here.
Felic Astral donated $5 through Super Chat. How do you like your height Y60 PC case? Saw it during your stream start. Been having my eye on getting one for a bit.
Yeah, I am all into it. I do really like it. It's a really clean case. You guys can, I mean, you can see it here. This thing. It is quite Gucci. Where did you guys say that the event was taking place? No, it was, you said it was on, New Babbage on Microtech. Okay. New Babbage. That's right. That's right. I remember. Port Trust and New Babbage. Voila. Oh. Hosa's hands-on stick is generally considered superior to Hoda's hands-on throttle and stick for space sim since they get 6 axis of control inputs. My dad, he was always super into flying sims. I grew up playing Flight Simulator with him. And it's because, I mean, he wanted to be a pilot for a long time. He worked in the Marines, and he was he worked on the flight lines as an engineer on the F-18s, like in Egypt when it was 126 degrees outside. It's just crazy hot. I can't even imagine. But he has one of those flying sticks, and he might not be using it anymore. I might be able to grab that. That could be cool. I know calling it a flying stick probably triggered a ton of people. Sorry. But yeah, the Y60 case, it's really good. The thing you have to remember, though, is if you want to stream, if you want to do any content like that, you cannot fit any other PCIe device into the case other than the graphics card. So if you are hoping to have like a capture card in there, or you need USB or maybe like Thunderbolt ports or something, forget it. You can't do anything like that with this case. You're just stuck. So be warned, because I got this, and then my plan was to get, I actually ordered a second one. There we go. Oh wait, I can't hear you. Oh, yeah. I just added you to the party. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't have a mic hooked up to this PC. I have to fix that. Okay. But yeah, other than that, the case is wonderful. I love the case, but it is not great for like creators, I'd say. If you want a creator's case, get that 011.
Quantum drive activated.
Oh. Did it not go? Really?
Yeah, I got a party invite.
Oh, that was weird. I'm thoroughly confused. What just happened? That was odd. That was odd. I thought we zipped off. Oh. Mind pressing open exterior button on cockpit dash. Coming to complete stop. Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. Okay.
Engines inactive.
Let's find a button for that. Menu. I have no idea. Stealth power, gear. No. Exit left. No. It's like shields. Open exterior. That sounds right. Did that work? Is that a thing? Oh no! Oh no! Oh god! Oops. Let's see. Crimson, do you think Starfield will be a good game at the end of the day? Yeah, it's all about expectations. Like, the issue and the tail of the tape for Bethesda recently has been that they are really bad at over-promising and people get too hyped. Is that really docked or are you inside? I can't tell if that's a flat surface or not. I thought I opened the thing. Should I try opening it again? I don't know. I thought it was open. Yeah, it says.
Jordan Moreno donated $5 through Super Chat. Are you doing
Thank
any
you.
missions today? I suggest the Black Kite or Ghost Hollow mission on Microtech. I hope you enjoy the expo.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. I think we're gonna head to the expo. We're gonna do that. We're trying to get everybody docked. Oh, there we go. There we go. Are you able to squeeze in here too? Let's see it. That was weird. It was like the... Maybe it was because I had it locked. I guess I had to unlock it and open it. I didn't realize that was the thing, but okay. Look at that. Oh, so sexy. Okay.
You're gonna have a tough time getting out with the gliding so close. Might need to pull forward a little bit if you can.
Close exterior. Okay. Is it gonna close? That elevator went back down. Okay. Yeah, for some reason it's not wanting to close. I don't know why that... Huh. Mind pressing open exterior button and cockpit dash coming to a complete stop. Oh, I already read that. That's from like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I thought that is the exterior showing closed for you guys? Because I pressed the close button and it's not. Okay, now it says that. Let's do it again. I don't know, maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just not going to go. I don't know.
Engines active.
Yeah, open exterior. It thinks it's closed. Yeah, buys a multi-billion-dollar space. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, I don't know why that hatch isn't closing. Okay, now it is. I guess maybe you had to close it. I don't know. Okay, let's do this. This is like the stereotypical like, what rich dude buys a fancy ship and then can't sail it. That's exactly what this is. Voila. And it's still closing. It'll probably be fine. Sonny, I think you should show you can leave the site while warping. Oh, you mean like leave the pilot seat? Yeah, I mean you can do that. The comment section on that video, I'm sure, is just like, if people went into that not wanting to like actually see what the game is like, then you know it's their loss at the end of the day. There were always going to be people kind of like that, you know. So that was always going to be a thing. What's the latest update? What would that be called if we were looking it up? Let me just look. Star Citizen update. 3.1 update. Okay, let's see this. 2 months ago. That sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah, I bought as much as much cargo as they would let me. It's probably overkill.
Bigger tech hurdles in gaming is about to enter public testing. Players have been waiting patiently to get their hands on the next patch for Star Citizen, patch 3.18, which will bring with it persistent entity streaming tech, allowing for all player-created objects in the verse to persist, potentially indefinitely. But more importantly, patch 3.18 will be the first implementation and proof of Star Citizen's replication layer tech that will allow for their server meshing technology to take root. Yesterday's YouTube series Inside Star Citizen gave us an updated insight as to just how close they are to releasing this tech to the public test universe. And
so if I understand that right, it's basically like they're trying to get it set so there's they're trying to get it set up so like even dropped items persist, because he said like player created items. So I maybe that's what they mean, because they showed the time lapse of the box staying there right there. Nothing will ever despawn. That, I mean, I can see that as the goal. I can appreciate that. I could also see that getting super toxic. But you know, like even when we flew the ship around, there were like piles of empty bottles. That one day we played when we had like 24 people in the party, there's empty water bottles all over the ship. Like it was covered in litter. So that could be interesting. That could be funny.
it is quite exciting. Now, this is a big deal even if you're not a Star Citizen fan. If Cloud Imperium Games can successfully implement their replication layer technology, it'll prove that super games are possible. This tech could usher in a new era of gaming for pretty much everyone, whether you're playing The Sims, Call of Duty, or Hello Kitty Island Adventure. This new server tech can expand the scope and scale of what's possible with online gaming across the board. Now, a lot of times when we think about the future of gaming, there tends to be a big emphasis on graphics and visual fidelity. And fairly, that has been some of the more exciting improvements made over the years with dynamic resolution scaling, real-time ray tracing, and all other sorts of visual improvements. But graphics, for the most part outside of, say, game streaming, have all been handled on the client side. So whether you're playing on a console or PC, you have a GPU that receives the game data and tells you what to render. And based on the power of your GPU, you can either set the visual settings to high or low. And making progress on the visual side of games has been tied into that processing and graphics card technology. But what most players haven't realized yet is that the next major evolution in gaming isn't really going to be as dependent on your GPU, but instead offloading massive data calculations to server groups to do high-end simulation calculations on their end, and then sending it back to you just for some simpler client-side rendering.
This is something I've always wondered, like how this hasn't been developed yet. Is this a press event or what? I mean, in a weird way, like, yeah, it's a big day because they're doing the free event, so sort of. But like, I honestly am surprised that more companies haven't done this already. Because basically, like, the vision would be to have, like, well, effectively a world or a universe that just exists permanently on the server side. The downside is that if the servers ever go offline, she done. You know, that's over. New Babbage. We need to go to New Babbage. Where? Where, oh, where is New Babbage? And so, like, this is one of those things where I could see it being like a net negative for some people, but I like the potential upside is very, very high. Because, like you were saying, the idea is that you set down a coffee cup on one planet, you can fly to a different planet, and as long as nobody touches the coffee cup, when you come back a month later in the game, that coffee cup is still there. I can see why that could be cool. And my understanding is the way they're able to do it, like he said, is the server mesh. So they basically, instead of having one server that's like the mother of all servers and just handles everything, they have a server that, you know, it's a team of servers basically. In the same way that like Netflix doesn't have the whole library of Netflix stored on one server. It's distributed all over. Same with YouTube and everything else. Oh, there's the frame rates. They're struggling. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, we're getting there. Oh. Because the star system is too big, one server render the whole system at the same time. If one server goes down, the other replication server will take over. Yeah, and similar stuff works with like Sea of no, was it Sea of? No, it is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves does the same basic thing where they have a series of servers that blend people together. It's only used to match players, you know, across different servers and geographic areas. At least that's the idea. But it should still be able to accomplish the same thing. Oh, I think the starport's over there. That's right. That's right. Okay. The Mick Gordon and id Software drama. I'll be honest, I haven't kept up on it. I see people tweeting every once in a while that there's drama involved with it. Like, my understanding is that there's something where he demanded more pay and he was abused by them. They didn't treat him well and this and that. There was just a bunch of stuff going on. And then Bethesda was like, he's lying and that's not true. And they didn't provide any evidence of that claim. They just kind of asserted it. So as of right now, everybody's believing the composer instead of them. But like I said, don't quote me on any of that. That's my brief understanding after glancing at it. So like, take it or leave it. I really don't know for sure. But after Bethesda's history of the last like 5 to 10 years, I am not inclined to give Bethesda any benefit of any doubt. You know. So id Software screwed Mick Gordon over the Doom Eternal OST. Gordon spent 2 years collecting evidence and receipts to prove that Bethesda massively took advantage of him and his work. I mean, like I said, reputation matters here. In the age of the Bayonetta stuff, yeah, you shouldn't just believe anybody who makes a crazy accusation. You should ask for a little bit of evidence and stuff to back up the claims. But Bethesda doesn't have a good track record. Like, I'm not gonna give Bethesda any benefit of the doubt.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Where's our... Oh, it's up there. I was like, I don't see the landing bay. Is this a drop-in one or a fly straight one? I can't tell. I think it's a drop-in one. 16 times the detail.
16 times the detail.
Such a cringy thing. What's his catchphrase going to be this time around? When he actually has stuff to show off for Starfield. You know, like what's he possibly going to say? Oh, God. Better be good. 1,000 planets with 16 times the detail. I just want to know how they calculated the 16 times the detail thing. Like, was it just that they did a basic thing of like, oh, the textures are at this resolution, old ones were at this resolution, so it's 16 times higher? Or was there some other math, or did he just like make up the 16 times the detail thing? And gently down.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay. Inactive.
Well done, gents. Did we need to fly a space yacht to do this? No. Am I glad we did? Yes. If I remember it was because the map was 4 times as wide and 4 times as long, so 16 times the detail. Who's gonna break it to him that that's not how? Did I just send the elevator? Damn it. Who's gonna break it to him that that's not how detail is calculated? It's like, so the map is bigger? Is that what you mean? 16 times the detail. You know, it used to be like, I still think Todd Howard is a great salesman. He's a phenomenal salesman. But he doesn't know. Yeah, I know. But he like doesn't know when to stop. And like, he knows what he's doing. Everybody knows that when you promise 1,000 planets in your sci-fi game, people have expectations for that. And the understanding is that that's going to be way bigger and badass and like super expansive. He knows what he's doing. He's an artist, okay? That's the thing though. It's like Todd Howard has always been a big ideas guy. He's never been the guy like in the trenches, you know? Like I think he was hired as like a low-level programmer, I think is where he initially was hired. But like he's never done anything crazy big. He's never been like the art director, you know. He went like into production. And he's very good at it, but his specialty is in selling the idea of a game and coming up with the hallmark ideas that can sell a game, you know, like Skyrim or Fallout 3, and be like, we took this beloved franchise and we reinvented it, and now it's got all these features, a slow-mo kill cam. Fallout 4, we have the base building. Like, does base building make Fallout a better game? I don't think so. Some people love it, but I don't know if it has a place in Fallout necessarily, you know? So it kind of makes me mildly uncomfortable, but he's the J.J. Abrams of games. I don't think you're wrong about that. That actually is a pretty apt comparison, I think. Oh, Herobrine, wow. Oh, getting dressed up. I think I have a hospital gown I could wear. Would that be good? I thought those were balloons. Okay. I'm assuming we go into the city. Customs. Scan gate 2. If I've stolen items, will they catch me there? Will it cause problems? Elevators. I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. Is this right? Okay. Seems to be. This is an event demanding proper attire. Oh my God, what happened to you? Oh no. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Okay. This one, okay. Because we're following the IAE signs. Okay. We decided to celebrate this event by stealing my dad's credit card and buying the most expensive ship I can. Did you guys ever see that Tim the Tatman clip of the little kid who meant to send like $5 but accidentally sent $500 on his like mom's credit card or something? I think it was his credit card, and the kid's freaking out because he's like, I'm gonna be killed. My mom's gonna murder me because I just spent that. And you know, Tim was a good sport. He's like, no dude, I'll just refund it right now. Like, watch, I'll do it right now. Still is kind of tough to explain. And I think if I remember right, Tim was like, oh yeah, dude, just if your mom has any questions, show her this clip. Dear Brandon's mom, he was trying to do something nice for me, throw me $5. He made a mess up. I refunded it. It'll show up on your bank statement, but it might look a little weird for a couple days because it'll like charge it and then it'll uncharge it and refund you. Which is like, it's true. Like even refunded, it's still going to show a $500 charge, you know, like the kid is still screwed. So wait, you still have to explain to me why you took my credit card to pay $5 to a random streamer who's a millionaire and doesn't need $5, you know? So many lurkers. Oh, it's normal. We have a lot of lurkers. I'm a lurker. I don't ever comment on videos or streams that I watch. I get it. I'm one of those people. I'm one of them. The Star Citizen streams I've also noticed have a good amount of lurkers. We have some fresh faces that are very active, and then we have a lot of lurkers that are new as well. The Playman. I was going to try No Man's Sky for an I Tried video, but oh, we're not there yet. Oh, Or, I'm confused. Oh, you clipped in. Oh, it's lagging. Okay, I'll join you here, Brian. I'll join you. Fair. I feel betrayed. Sorry. It lagged. It showed you standing on the platform, and then you zipped away because you had clipped into the ship. Oops. Let's see. I've been playing Death Stranding on PC for about 2 weeks now. I shouldn't enjoy it, but I do. That's kind of what I mean. If you go upstairs, you should get dripped out. Okay, I can do that. Stairs. Yeah, it's one of those games that shouldn't really be fun, but you know what? There's mild enjoyment from it, and that's how I work. That's how I do. Twins. Oh, and it's spelled with a Y. That's straight out of Fort Collins. Fort Collins, everything is spelled in like that hipster way. The promenade. I'm assuming there's cool shops over here. So these are very cool cities. Like once they have the AI and the tool sets to like populate buildings like this, you could have a city that's just generated. Oh, do I have to leave to go to the promenade? No. New Babbage Promenade. Ooh, groovy. Okay, Whammers. Apparelli. I'm assuming that's for apparel. I'm assuming. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, I kind of like this. Confirm purchase. Okay. The pants. I'll buy the pants. Is there anything to do in this game other than spend money? That's a very good question. Because I will admit, it does seem like I'm doing a lot of that. Vertigo. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. As always, like I said, for early access games, you should never, ever, ever put money in until you are satisfied with the product as it sits now. So none of this like, oh, I want to buy Star Citizen because I think one day it'll be really cool. Or because one day they'll add this and that. No. You get into Star Citizen only if you are currently satisfied with what it is. Why can I not put it on? And if you're satisfied with where it is now, then enjoy it. Okay, do I still need to buy the coat? I thought I bought the coat. I guess I didn't buy the coat. Come on, coat. I want not the concept shirt. I want the coat. Not the gloves, not the pants. Okay, how do I buy the coat? Jacket white. I'll buy that one. You gotta get close. I thought I was like super close. Does this look like total ass? No, that works. I'm happy with that. Okay. I'm happy with that. Okay, we're coming. We're coming to the event. We'll make it. But yeah, I mean, going back to what people were asking earlier about future investments in this, I don't foresee spending any more real money. Like I bought the base package, transit. The cheapest thing you could buy to get access to it, and I did that for sake of videos and the stream just to try it. And I think for 45 bucks I've gotten my money's worth out of it as it is. But I do not think I'll be throwing any more chunks of change at it. Or let me say, I don't think. I won't until there's further things like the Squadron 42. What are you doing? Squadron 42, like it has Mark Hamill in it. When that's released, if it's released, we'll do like a video on that because it's Mark Hamill, you know? Once I see the ships, you will. I'll just patiently wait till random people throw stupid amounts of money at me for no reason. So. But again, to be fair, like, and this is what one of the premises of that video yesterday was, I seriously don't know how the game would be if you didn't have access to these things, because like it's the only way I've seen it. This is cool. Themed. I love it. Apex Hall. Bunch of snazzy looking fellas over here. So yeah. To be fair, I used to spend way too much money on CSGO. Dude, when I was in my Warzone phase, it was bad. Because, like, oh man, it was just like if you wanted to be even moderately competitive, you had to buy the. Oh, come off it. Okay. You had to buy the latest season pass. You had to buy the bundles that had the guns that were in the meta, and like when I got really into it, I don't know, all told I probably spent a couple $100 on Warzone when all was said and done. And then I kind of snapped out of it. I was like, no. And I went and I started playing Apex a lot, and Apex I haven't spent any money on except like, have I spent any money on Apex? I don't think I've ever. I don't think I have. I think all of it is credits I've earned in game. So this is that big freighter for like, I think this is a mining ship actually. These little lights, yeah. It's kind of fun. They let you tour it. They show it off. I can see this is why people spend money. They come and they tour the ships and then they're like, oh yeah, I can, yeah, whatever, I'll try it. Little Corsair. This is a mean ship. This one just looks angry. Jeez. Well, in Vertigo, absolutely. And that's why I'm trying to disclose that very clearly. Like, I have gone in and I've played, like, I did a 5-hour-ish session where I was off stream. I didn't invite anybody to the party. I played solo and I used the basic ship that you start with. And I tried the game to see what it was like there. And that experience for me was much less compelling. I still enjoyed it just for sake of like the cool stuff they were able to kind of, just the exploration factor. But the oh, that's bad. I fell through it. Yeah, there's no collision here. Oops. So there's that, and I want to be very clear about that, because that's a problem, you know. For any game, if it's limited and your pleasure and joy in it is limited by how much you spend, that's concerning. And I don't think the developers want that to be the case. It's just the case right now. But that should definitely affect your consideration. Because again, you should only put 45 bucks in if you like it as it is right now. If this isn't compelling to you, if the exploration factor doesn't look compelling, and the idea of grinding your way up to a big ship with like friends, if that's not compelling, it's not going to be. Oh, rent? How much do they want for this? Oh, is it just free? Yeah. I want to tour this thing.
Necromantech donated $5 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
One thing you may not have gotten from playing solo is the community is very good, and you'll usually find people in in-game chat willing to help you.
That's absolutely true. The community is very passionate. One thing, and I'm going to tell everybody this right now, because we have fans of Star Citizen in here. One of the issues with the community is that there is almost zero admittance of the faults. And there's like, it's a big turnoff because up until very recently, I had never touched this game. And part of the reason I had never touched it was because the one time I said, yeah, it's weird that they've raised so much money and the game's never released. I don't know. It kind of seems like maybe it's some sort of weird, like, money laundering scheme or something. I said that. And I received death threats over it. Like, not death threats I would take seriously. Obviously, it's probably like a 12-year-old. But that's insane. And I think the Star Citizen community more generally needs to be highly intolerant of people that do that type of thing. Because there's a lot of them. More than there should be, you know? And I'm not saying any of you guys would do that. Or say those types of things. But, dude, it's like having a companion in Fallout. Like, you can't go anywhere. But the community needs to shed those people like a bad habit, because they're destroying the game's chances of appealing to a wider audience, and I don't think anybody really wants that. You know, that's a big problem. Needs to be a zero tolerance policy for that. If people are toxic, you put them down. You say that's not okay. No, we're not doing that. Or if people get upset that you call out the weird, like, the weird issues with performance, even still, AI problems, and you just don't want to acknowledge it. No, you got to call it out. It's like, yeah, there's a long way to go here. Oh, these things are cute. I just glitched into the caterpillar and died. That's kind of funny. Do you know you can in-game talk to people? Yeah, no, the whole thing is the way I have my mic system set up, it's quite complicated. There's a lot of line out, line in, processing, capture card, like there's a bunch of stuff like that. And as a result, I cannot I cannot do in-game chat. I could set up like a secondary microphone and do that way, but there would also be limitations with that where I can't mute myself to chat. So the way I have it set up right now is any in-game chat will be relegated to Discord. So I'll only be chatting to people that, you know, I'm on a call with, basically. I told someone the ships are just like NFTs and they lost it. It's a little funny. I mean, it's a little funny. My understanding is that there's like a whole secondary market where people sell the ships for real world money. And that's crazy. Like that you can do that for one. But I did see somebody saying that buying the $800 whatever ship for real money was an investment because it'll be worth more in the future. And I was like, please don't spend money on video games as an investment. Please don't. It's just please don't. Literally 5 of us trying to keep up with your random pathfinding. Yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. Yeah, look at the squad. We got the squad. That's pretty funny. It's funny. I'm not used to having like so many people come out. It's fun. I like it. My entire IRA is in Star Citizen. I imagine explaining that to like the IRS auditor. Like, okay, and where did you deploy your capital? Star Citizen? I'm sorry, what? I put all of my investments into a ship. Oh, a ship. Okay, like a boat. Where is the ship docked? It's in the Andromeda Galaxy. Oh, dude, that would be so freaking funny. Like, oh, if you could keep a straight face, dude, that would be so freaking funny. Oh, man. Vincent Van Vega, we are very intolerant to death threats. The biggest Star Citizen streamers like Burks and Salty Mike, I think is what it says, criticize the game all the time. Well, and that's good. And I haven't seen those, those guys. I'm not familiar with them. No shade, of course. I just am not familiar with them. And that's good to hear. And all I would say is like, I don't know. I've seen it enough in my videos and in my comment section talking about Star Citizen passively
donated $5
that it does seem to be an
Super
issue,
Chat.
even if they're intolerant
the SC
of it.
Community is so used to the game being insulted, questioned that they kinda went the other way with it, and we can be overly defensive.
And I get that. I get that. And that's why I think that's why I do think that there is a like, again, I understand it. The thing you're passionate about has been viciously attacked for ages. Oh, look at this. I come out. It's just like, I love it. Let's see what this is like. Oh, that's cool. I can understand that. You love something and people just keep shitting on it. I understand that. I get it. But at the same time, you got to kind of ask, okay, well, what's my ultimate goal? If you're passionate about something like this, your goal hopefully is to bring more people into the fold, right? To show them around and to make them fall in love with the same thing you're in love with. And that, I think, is doable. Pardon me, scusi, pardon me, scusi. Oh, taking a seat. Thank you, sir. Ooh, a lever. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, it's up and out. Wow. Okay. Yeah, let's go downstairs. Let's do that. Another room downstairs. Let's see it. So I just think like there's a lot of games people are very passionate about. Like No Man's Sky is another one. Minecraft, Death Stranding. Even Death Stranding has some very, very toxic fanboys, okay? Very. However, I have never once seen somebody like dish out a death threat over it. Is this gonna be one of the ships? Dang, dude. Whereas Star Citizen, it's happened to me, just me, a handful of times. The Kraken. How much do they want for the Kraken? If anybody knows, let me know in chat. That's freaking gigantic. That's got to be like a $2,000 ship. 17. I was close. I was pretty close. 1,800. Dude. That's insane. Like, I don't even know what you would do with it. Like, I know you could get your squad together and stuff, but I don't know. It does start to Going back to the NFT thing, that's so funny. Because I know some people will treat this like this. Not out of the people like we've seen in chat, you guys have all just been very level-headed and just been like, no, it's like I spend money on this. It's the one game I really play with my friends, and so I spend money on it. It's my hobby. You know, I acknowledge that it's an expensive hobby to get into, but you know, I just spend the money on it. And I think that that's fine as long as you have the money to do it and that's what you want to do. So be it. But like I have heard people kind of like that guy that was doing the cigarette thing where he was saying like, well, you know, it's not as bad as smoking. It's like, it's not a defense, you know. It's not a defense. And it's also, these aren't investments. Don't pretend like these are investments. Like, that's what makes people make fun of you. Okay. Like, if you don't want people doing that, you have to be kind of level-headed enough to be able to say like, yeah, it's really freaking expensive, but it's my hobby and this is what I do. You know, if you're into Warhammer is also super freaking expensive. But if you have the money to do it and you just like the game and you want to do that, props. Have fun. Enjoy it. There's other hobbies like cycling. If you're into cycling and you want to spend thousands of dollars on one bicycle, cool. As long as you you admit, yeah, it's very expensive. I'm not pretending as though this is like actually an investment and this and that, but you know, I just do it because I enjoy it. The Drake Corsair. Heed the call of space and wherever the winds of adventure may steer you. Yeah, this thing is just mean looking. This is your pirate ship right here. This one you get nasty with. Thank you, Roger. Thank you. See what I mean? The notifications pop off randomly.
Random Roger donated $10 through Super Chat.
Very generous,
I could
dude.
be wrong, but whenever the game is actually released, some ships won't be purchasable with real money. Only in-game, if not all, can buy credits with but the value is going to be low.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think because there's so much speculation involved, the only way you can really evaluate a game like this is to look at it as it is right now. And as it is right now, the perception publicly is that the only way to really have fun is to spend a lot of money. And I think one of the issues is that people say you can grind for it and you can just play the game and earn like in-game money in credits and do that. So like, you know, you can build up a healthy balance trading and doing things like that, but it's going to take you a while. And I think everybody that I've spoken to that has a very nice ship says that they grinded a lot for it, but that they've also spent a lot of money on the game. And so it kind of, for an outsider looking in, it looks as though, you know, you're talking out both sides of your mouth, you know? Pirates, you mean well-maintained militias? Yeah, sorry, well-regulated militias. Yeah, okay, so let's see. TBH, I had the same stance that you had at the start of this whole ordeal, and I haven't been convinced by your videos thus far, but I love the way you have handled this. This is why I subbed. You're able to keep an open mind and be pretty objective. Well, I appreciate that, Vertigo. And I want to be clear and honest. My exposure to this game has been highly irregular. Like, people are literally bowing in front of me, okay? Like, this is not normal, okay? Don't mistake this for your experience. The community is very good from what I've seen once you actually are playing the game. But the people in YouTube comment sections are a little toxic, okay? We're going to keep it real. But once you're playing the game, like if I hit F12, you can see there's all sorts of people asking questions, asking for advice and assistance. Like, oh, where is IAE located? New Babbage. Oh, cool. The Corsair's pretty. I wish I could fly mine, except it's not arrived yet. 4 hours so far. You know, it's really a supportive group. And so I just think it's tricky because streamers and YouTubers like me, we come into these videos and we want to do something fun and interesting. So we go and we want to like show off the big crazy ships, and we have people join us and show off their crazy ships, and we try to do all of that. to make the videos more interesting, and it just kind of limits, or rather it makes the video or the game appear better than it is not what I'm trying to say. I think it sort of frames it in a different way, because for most people, they're not going to have this experience. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. Let's see. You can have a similar experience to yourself if you join an org in game, but for the solo player, not so much. Yeah. And it's totally fine. Ew. Is this the big boy? She's pretty. I just think if Star Citizen wants to turn around their public perception, it's going to come from on top. And they have to seriously work on rebranding and reestablishing the perception that the only way to have a lot of fun is to spend a lot of money, you know? Because right now, that's definitely the perception publicly. And whenever somebody who hasn't ever tried the game says that it seems like the only way to have fun is to spend a lot of money, there are some very supportive and, decent people that come into the comment section of a YouTube video and will be like, no, that's not actually what it is. It's like this and this and this. But there are, at least on YouTube, just as many very loud, extremely toxic defenders of the game. And part of it is because, you look on the website and some of these ships are like that crazy ship, the Kraken, is $1,800. And people look at that and they're like, I mean, shouldn't it just be in-game only? Like, that seems kind of screwy. And so there's got to be a change in perception. And hopefully, one day when, again, one day, that's the Star Citizen syndrome like you guys were razzing me for earlier. One day, when the game officially launches, if it ever does, I hope that they would have the balls to strip out real money paid ships and make it just in-game earned. And until then, I think you're always going to have this perception that it's kind of not even pay to win, it's pay to have fun. And I don't blame people for not wanting to deal with that, Because if that's the perception, any game, if you look at it and your perception of that game is that you have to spend money to have fun, then you're probably not going to ever give it a try. And that's the issue right now, is I think if people tried it, they would have a lot of fun. This is like some hella thick carpet. Jeez. If people tried it, I think they would have fun, but people don't try it because the impressions they have are so generally negative. After some toxic members of the community kind of spoil it for them. Oh, hello, sir. That's cool. Oh, thank you, Felic. Again, thank you.
Felic Astral donated $10 through Super Chat. This game also heavily wants you to explore group play. A capital ship might be very expensive for real money, but an active org, which these large ships are for, can work together to earn it in-game.
That's certainly true. I think that that's something that perhaps is not well known outside of the Star Citizen world. And I'm saying this as somebody who, 2 weeks ago, had no idea what this game was like at all. Besides brief videos and things. I think that there's very little understanding of just how important the orgs are for people and how much the group play comes into it. Because from the outside looking in, you look at something like the Kraken and you see that and you're like, okay, so there's just a bunch of random people that are coming in spending $2,000 on a ship that they fly with maybe one or two friends. Like, that's really what the perception is. And when, like, their only exposure is people in, like, Twitter replies or YouTube comments that are telling them to, like, go unalive themselves for saying that and for speaking bad about Star Citizen, yeah, they're not going to have a good experience with the game. They're not ever going to try it and see what it's actually like, you know? Misinformation is super common around Star Citizen. Realizing that all of these huge ships need a lot of people to actually run needs to be better known. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Got the dance moves over here. You can't run something like that Kraken with 1 to 2 people. You need a full crew. Oh, dude, I can't even imagine what that thing is like. Yeah, it's not even in game yet, to be fair. It will require much more than 2 to operate. You get a loaner ship in the meantime. Yeah. For an outsider like me, $1,800 or an $1,800 ship that can be earned in game sounds like it would take like a month or 2 to obtain. My understanding, Thesaurus, is that well, guys, have they announced how much that Kraken will be in game? That's gotta be like a freaking 70 million credit ship or something. Like, it's got to be crazy pricey. Maybe even more than, it might be 100 million credit ship. Because if the 890J was released at like $600 when they first dropped it, then, and like that thing is 35 million credits. You multiply that by 3, you start to get up much closer to the 100 million mark. Yeah. And that 100 million credits is going to take you 100 hours to earn. 100 hours. And that's an hour per million. And I think it's important to be fair. Players who start the game aren't going to be able to grind a million an hour for a while, because they have to work up. Like, when you start with that dinky little ship, you can carry like a crate. You can't carry hardly any cargo on it. You can't go and grind stuff. You can't mine. Like, you're very, very limited. So it's going to be like 100 hours once you reach that point. So it's not going to be that easy for people who start. And I think that's to be fair again, one person should not be grinding for the Kraken. Okay. Let's be perfectly clear. Even this like crazy space yacht that we've been flying around today, not one person does not need this space yacht, right? Like, nobody needs that space yacht. It's for like these streams when we have crews of people, you know, that's the idea. So I don't know, man. It's just, there's so much stuff with it. It's just tricky. I think at the end of the day, like, my impressions of this game after, you know, playing a handful, I wouldn't say I've played like a ton of it. You know, maybe all told I'm in for like 20 to 35 hours, somewhere like that. Mostly of just messing around. We've done some missions here and there. I haven't really messed around with mining yet. But we've done some stuff. And you know, so far I've had a pretty good experience with it, but my experience has not at all been in line with what 99.9% of people will have when they play this game for themselves. And as a result, it's I think it's just important to be honest and upfront about that. Yeah. I'm having fun, but my fun here has not been in line with what most people will have. Because just to get to where, like, the fun that I've been having with you guys is probably going to take 50 to 100 hours realistically of grinding, experimentation, joining an org, getting your feet under you, learning how the game works, watching YouTube guides and tutorials and things. And all the while, they would have to resist the urge to spend real world money to skip a lot of that. And I would hope one day the game comes out and they strip that. But I mean, honestly, I don't think they ever will. I think they'll keep charging $2,000 for big ships because, I mean, they can. People will pay that, you know? Luke already has enough cash capital power of a medium-sized org by just streaming. Yeah, for real. Well, I think that, honestly, it kind of leaves a bad taste in people's mouths when they watch, like, it's something I didn't really anticipate, but after that video yesterday, it's pretty clear if you go through the comments. People look at it and, like, those guys that were saying, oh, clearly Luke was paid off by the developers to make this video. Like, they honestly believe that. They're not just saying it. They think that because they're like, well, why else would the community throw money at Luke? And they honestly believe it, even though it's clearly not true. And it's just players like you who are tossing money you've grinded for, tossing it at me for sake of the stream and for videos. But people still have the impression that the only way you have fun in Star Citizen is by paying money or by being a streamer or a YouTuber that gets people to throw them stuff, you know? Roger, geez, man, you're just like flinging the cash around. I appreciate you. That's very generous. Thank you.
Random Roger donated $10 through Super Chat. People think that the more a ship costs, the better you can play the game. Not true. You can have that 890 jump fully crewed, and get taken out by someone in a $50 ship who knows how to fly it.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And I think the impression certainly has been that it is, I think from the outside, that it's pay to win and pay to have fun. Like, it's the barrier to entry to enjoying yourself is money. And that turns a lot of people off. When in reality, it's like, no, you can do just as much without grinding and without doing those types of things. However, there is a lot of fun to be had if you just go and like bypass it and you get the expensive ship and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think Star Citizen currently has a bit of a sort of, whatever they call it. What do they call it? Not lens, optics problem. It has an optics problem. And that is that people outside of the game who haven't tried it before look at it and think that it's just pay to win, that you have to have money to enjoy it. And that isn't necessarily the case, but the issue comes along when people say, no, you can grind for it. You can get these things in game. But then they turn around and they're driving a ship that they paid $500 in cash for, you know? And that again makes them lose credibility. The only way to, I think, really convince players that the game is worth it and is worth being excited for without spending huge amounts of money is by doing it yourself. And who knows, maybe there's a way to do a stream. Maybe we do a series where I do that very thing, where I kind of start with a new character after the 3.18 and I don't accept any gifts. I don't know if I can turn that off, but I don't accept any outside money. I don't do any of that. And I just grind like a regular player, you know? Maybe that's how we do it. Maybe that's how we try to
Random Roger donated
introduce people to
$10
it.
through Super Chat. I've been real money on ships because I don't have time to grind to replace ships every time a wipe happens. That would make me not want to play. I'm only a casual player.
Yeah, well, and I think the big thing, and for you, Roger, especially, the thing that kind of gives that, I would say, that gives you more credibility in this discussion, is specifically that you are being like, I think, very upfront with it. You're just like, yeah, no, I don't have time to grind. I don't want to grind. I want to have the ships in my inventory. And you have the expendable income to do that. And you enjoy it. And like, that's great. And you admit it. And that's great. I think the problem is when people sort of talk out of both sides of their mouths and then refuse to acknowledge that they are spending like a lot of real money on ships, and they pretend like it's, well, no, I mean the price, or they try to defend it by saying like, oh, it's an investment. You know, I'm going to resell the ship later and then I'll make my money back. So I'm just actually investing. It's actually responsible of me. Oh, you're right. I'm thirsty. I'm a thirsty boy. Hold on. I bought, oh no. Where did my water bottle go? Oh, when the game crashed, I must have... No, but then I checked when we logged back in and I still had it. Is it in my backpack? Is that why? That's weird, man. Huh. That's weird. Vincent, a lot of people find Zero to Hero very appealing. Start with less money and resources as possible. A lot of YouTubers do that, and I recommend you do. So it's really fun. I think that's the only way to potentially have a compelling argument that people should give this a shot. Because when I go in there and I just tore them through a $32 million ship that somebody threw the money at me for, I can really appreciate that, and I can really have a lot of fun with it. And it can even make an entertaining video, but it's not compelling for people because people look at that and they're like, oh, so it's just, I mean, it's another YouTuber who received a bunch of, you know, like who received a bunch of stuff from viewers, you know, classic streamer crap, you know? Mm-hmm. Thank you for the 10,000. I think those are Indian rupees. Is that what it is? Indian rupees, I think. Yes, I'm concierge, but this is not an investment. It's a game. I also support the development of the game because of it, but I never recommend anyone buy anything outside of the starter pack. Yeah, the idea that people say it's an investment. It's like, guys, that's literally NFT talk. Like, you do realize you're literally calling it like an NFT. You know, Brazilian reals. Oh, that's what it. Okay, like that's literally what you're doing. It's the same thing like when people hype up. I've told you guys this before. I have constantly, probably 3 to 5 a day, emails from companies trying to get me to promote their NFT games. Most of them offer to pay me in NFTs. Why am I in here? Why did I come in here? Oh, no, I'm good. It's insane. It's ridiculous. But they do it all the time. And at this point, I'm like, guys, NFTs have such terrible PR. You've got to realize this. Like, go and change it up. Change it up. Call it like, not NFTs. Call it like, I don't even know. Call it like diamond plats or like wood brick. Call it anything else. But the term NFT is so toxic. Change it up. NFTs are worthless. Did you see Justin Bieber spent like, I think $1.5 million on one? It was like a picture of a rock wearing a t-shirt or something. And he spent like over $1 million on it. And then yesterday it was valued at, I think, $10.50. Which is just hilarious. Felt like I'm $1,300 in, but I've dumped more money into projects and games with less potential. I've got money to give, and I want to support CIG's devs. And I think that this is part of what causes the issue with new players or from people who haven't tried the game before, is they see the people that talk most positively about the game are often the ones who have spent the most money. And it's sort of a chicken and the egg thing. People have spent that much money because they like the game. They aren't spending the game necessarily to like or to end up liking the game more, although that's perhaps part of it. But they're spending the money because they like the game, not liking the game because they spent the money, right? So it's like, it's kind of flipped. But the perception is that the people who really defend the game and talk very highly of it are the ones who have spent a good chunk of change. And that's why people look at it and they're like, okay, so they hear that and they think, okay, so I have to spend $1,300 if I want to enjoy the game and be that passionate about it, when that's not necessarily the case. It's sort of a misconception. It's an easy kind of logical swap to make, but it happens so freaking often. You know, same thing. You see a streamer who spends thousands of dollars on packs and on all sorts of different things for their loadouts in Warzone and everything else. And people think, okay, I need to spend that money to be like that streamer, to play like that streamer. Or, Luke's got a nice setup of tons of cameras. I need all that stuff. I need to spend that much money to be a streamer or a YouTuber too. It's like, no. I spent this much stuff because I was a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber because I spent that much money, right?
Through Super Chat.
It's a
Passenger
swap.
missions will be a thing one day, so that's where the 890 will come in handy. Plus, by then, you'll be able to hire NPC crew.
The NPC crew, I think, is going to be that is a big deal. I like that dance. That's funny. You guys see that? I can move it slightly. FYI, you can exchange cash bought ships for store credit. It's not like you need to constantly spend more. Oh, that is an important thing. I had no idea. I spend less money in Star Citizen than CSGO. I'm around $400 in supporting for about 5 years. So about $70 a year. Yeah, and like that... It's tough, and I'm just going to be real with you guys. It's tough to describe this in any meaningful way without coming off as like hold on. Yeah. But it's just one of those. I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just was, Grandma, like I said, Grandma was over watching him, and then she just put him down for a nap, and she said she's gonna head out. But I brought the baby monitor down to watch him ahead of time. Oh, he's a cute fella. Oh. Biggest naysayers have never played the game themselves. Well, and Roger, that's exactly what we tried to buck with this attempt to just try the game ourselves. And I've been having a good time with it, like really. And you guys have been extremely welcoming. And part of what we're talking about now, like I'm trying to kind of think out loud how to, I guess, introduce more people to this. Because I think a lot of people out there who are currently naysayers will enjoy this if they tried it, you know?
THR3E-Dimensional donated $5 through Super Chat. How long have you been living in the Matrix?
We've only been playing this, I think, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago was our first try. I think is what it was. So, like, not long.
Random Roger donated $5 through Super Chat.
Appreciate
What's
you
crazy
again.
to me is the biggest naysayers have never actually played the game themselves.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that there's a way to introduce more people to it. I was hoping that this video I put up yesterday would do it. Who knows? We'll see how the video does long term over the next like week or two. But part of it is like negativity around this game sells. And as a result, there's just, I think people are incentivized to talk really negatively about it. Like you guys probably saw that I think it was the YouTuber with the J logo, Jimmy or JV or something like that. But he made a video that did like over 2 million views where he went back and played, or he tried playing the game, and his video was overwhelmingly negative, at least from what I recall. And that video did 2 million views. I think that was the negative one. Was that one negative? Or am I thinking of something? I don't want to say it was negative if it wasn't. I might be mistaking it with another YouTuber who's also blew up and did negative. I don't know. But I whether or not it was JV. There was a YouTuber, I've seen plenty of them, where they do videos on Star Citizen that do great views and are overwhelmingly negative. But if you try to come out with a video that's trying to be unbiased about the game, it's usually like pissed on pretty bad. I think it was on the positive side. Then I must be thinking of another YouTuber. It's somebody else. I saw like, it was like I thought it was JV, but maybe it was another YouTuber. Because I guess it was a while back that I saw it. I think JV's video was recent. But yeah, I don't know. I think negativity around this sells. at least with the broader gaming public, whereas the individuals who are already in, are much more separated out, if that makes sense. Jack Frags did a Star Citizen video with more than 1 million views, and it was very positive and fun looking. Well, that's good. If the game's bad, it's bad. You want them to shill? No, not at all. Not at all. I think there's ways to, as with all things, there's ways to frame videos positively and negatively. Like I try to show the glitches, the bugs, like whether or not I think they're widespread or not. Like in my God of War Ragnarok review, I showed the bugs in the or I didn't show them because they were filled with spoilers, but I described that I had 2 soft locks, like pretty severe bugs that forced me to reload. That's a problem. I could have just kind of lied through omission and just not mentioned those. But I still showed it because I wanted to be as clear and transparent as I could. And then if you're trying to be overly negative about a game, it would be something like the Gotham Knights thing. I can look at Gotham Knights and it can be like, yeah, so some of the broader themes are pretty interesting. I like the Court of Owls. I think that that's really interesting. The way that they design the city and concept is really, really cool. There's stuff like that I can speak positively about. But if I want to just do a negative hit piece on Gotham Knights, I'm just not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about the technical issues. I'm just going to talk about the kind of cringe combat, the cringe writing on the minor scale. I'm going to talk about the horrible ending. I'm going to talk about all of this random stuff, right? And I just won't talk about the positive. So usually what you'll see for hit piece videos and for puff piece videos is just omissions. You just won't talk about the negative if you're trying to hype it up. You won't talk about the positive if you're trying to bash it down, So, gadgets and gear. Anyone who says Star Citizen is all good or bad is wrong. Well, and I think that that's the important part. There's a lot of issues with Star Citizen. Of course, it's still in development. It's kind of broken. It's got a lot of issues. But there is fun to be had here. And like I said, I think for the $45 I'm happy with the $45 I've spent. A video game that I'm reviewing Monday, if I had spent money on it, I would be a little pissed off. That's at least my stance right now. But I'm happy with the $45 I've spent thus far, Let's see.
THR3E-Dimensional donated $5 through Super
THRE.
Chat. Is it worth trying, regardless the overhaul on productivity?
I think these types of games appeal to certain types of people. If this seems interesting, if you like the Star Citizens, the Elite Dangerous types, if you like those kinds of space, sci-fi, adventure games, then yeah, you should try it. $45, I think the potential is here. The fun is here. I've been having a good time. The community is there. And I've been enjoying it. But for like a full, if it doesn't look interesting right now, I don't think it's going to be fun. And it's free right now. Yeah, that's a good point. It's free. So if you want to just try it, absolutely try it. It does take a supercomputer to run it though. I'm warning you. If that sounded like Evil West, I cannot say what it is, but I think some people might really like the game I will be covering on Monday. Other people might find it mildly entertaining, but I just think it's really not a game for me. I don't know. It's hard to describe and I don't know. I'll talk about it Monday. You'll hear Monday. Vincent, I think he came to Star Citizen at the worst time in recent history. I wish you started playing 3.18. The next patch, which will break or make this game right now, 3.17 is very rough. Well, and the fact that I'm having a decent time at the worst time in recent history, I think should tell you about the potential there. Battlefield 2042 is $60 and is a broken piece of crap until these days. I thought it was still a broken piece of crap. Yeah, I would guess 3.18 will be a lot more unstable, trying to introduce this new tech. I would assume. I really get nervous when content creators becoming Star Citizen White Knight in a short period of time that they play it. So I'm glad to hear your fair criticism. Yeah, I just think like there's stuff to like, there's stuff to hate. There's a lot of problems. And if they were charging $60 for this and they were releasing it as it currently is, oh, I would tear it a new one. But being very clear that this is early access, being very clear that you are coming into a work in progress, that is much more engaging, I think, and compelling. As long as there's no alternative. There are alternatives. I just think at this point, part of it, let's be completely honest, guys, part of it is that people have spent a lot of money on Star Citizen are kind of in too deep to get out now. Like, there's a lot of people who believe in the vision, who have spent $1,000+ on the game, and they're not going to walk away. They're not going to slide over and start playing No Man's Sky, every waking moment. Like, they're in pretty deep. As they're heavily testing it, maybe. And I don't think I've ever heard about a stable Star Citizen patch. Madam Blade 2, I have heard of it. I have not played it though. Don't think you compare Star Citizen and No Man's Sky. I think at least in terms of like some of the tech they've been using for dynamic stuff. But obviously I think Star Citizen is more ambitious in every way. I just realized like we're just standing here and a lot of people are probably trying to get into servers. We're probably clogging that up. That's probably not cool, is it? Oops. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, that's probably free it up for people. Remember when people migrated to Star Citizen after the disaster that was Elite Dangerous? I don't know. I was never familiar with Elite Dangerous. I have it installed. I was going to try it, but I've never sat down to give it a shot. Is it good or is it terrible? No Man's Sky looks like a game designed for kids. It's just not immersive at all to me. Oh, absolutely. I've tried going back and playing it, but I'm just not into that kind of thing. And plus, like, there's no real, at least that I've come across, there's no real cities. There's no, like, narrative trying to, like, guide you through the universe. It's just, like, go mess around. It's, like, kind of, it's space Minecraft is kind of what they've turned it into. I just got your DM, Rocky. I agree. Shifting away from Streamlabs seems to be the way to go. YouTube is just, it's got a different set of tools. I've tried swapping over to some Stream Elements stuff, and it's very inconsistent. But Elite Dangerous is just different. I was an ED refugee. I pre-ordered Odyssey. It pretty much burned me on the game for good. Was Odyssey just terrible? Just horrible? Because I don't even know what that is. No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky looks like Space Subnautica. Yeah, that's kind of true. It was awful. Odyssey was crap. Huh. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. I don't know. One of the things I think... Wait, didn't the CEO quit or something? Oh, that's never a good sign. That's never a good sign. That's a bad sign. It's the same thing with Suicide Squad from Rocksteady. The two founders of the studio left like a few weeks ago before Suicide Squad launches. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. These guys founded the studio and they're leaving before allegedly the biggest game they've ever made. That should worry everyone who's excited for Suicide Squad. because that doesn't happen. The only time that happens is when they are very negative towards the project they're working on, or there's an amazing opportunity elsewhere. But they founded Rocksteady. So, like, they were already kings of the castle. Like, they were set. They didn't need money. They were good. So why would they leave? Probably to jump ship.
Random Roger donated $10 through Super Chat.
Jeez, man,
My
that's gotta be like
spending on
$100
SC,
at
it's
this
just
point.
over 1,700. But I've been playing since 2017. That's not counting the 2 ships I purchased on the gray market that weren't available on the website at the time.
Yeah, and I think, Roger, I think the clarity that you outlined earlier is the key of just being like, I don't have time to grind, so I love the game and I like it as it is, so I'm going to spend the money on it. But, you know, nobody else needs to do that. And as long as you're clear and upfront with that, I think that's respectable and people can agree with it. You're an adult. If you want to spend your money on a video game, spend the money on the video game. Like, it's your hobby. Go for it. It's when, like I said, the problem comes along when people kind of dance around the issue or suggest that it's an investment or that they're not actually just spending the money on a game. You know, that's when people stop taking you seriously. So as long as you're upfront and clear with it, I think it's understandable. Or at least I think people can get it. It makes sense. They need to add ships to Mountain Blade 2 or 3. Let's see. Running on an HDD, 32 gigs of RAM, 970 GTX, an old CPU, 40 FPS in space, 30 on the moons, 20 on the planets with weather. Oof. Ooh, an SSD will really help for sure. But the game is also just heavy. It is a heavy game. This IAE is one of the events CIG uses to help boost their funds by selling ships. It's something I am personally not a fan of because it pulls some of their resources away from important tasks. Absolutely. I'm just saying this because I'm genuinely interested. I want to know kind of where the money's going. I would really be interested in what compensation packages look like and what direct compensation for executives is like. I don't think they have to disclose any of that, but if they did, that would make me much more comfortable. I know they've opened multiple locations. I know they have a ton of employees now. I know they're working very, very hard. But I think it's just important to remember just how freaking much $500 million is. A new office in Manchester, that's true. But again, you're leasing office space. A lot of equipment you're leasing. A lot of the stuff you're doing for this, even if you have $500 million cash raised, you're still getting business loans and you're using the $500 million in cash as collateral, or you're selling bonds and doing things. I mean, again, like I have a degree in corporate finance. I've studied how you take $500 million and turn it into a $5 billion project, right? So I would just be very interested in where that money's going. New stuff for their shows, mocap studio, 2 new offices, 1 big mocap. Yeah, I would say honestly, like that's maybe a $20 to $30 million investment, leveraged. And maybe their answer is that they just don't leverage anything. I would say that's probably a little stupid. You should leverage a little, but I'm not saying like 80-20 leverage. I'm saying maybe like 60-40, but still. They disclose their financials yearly, and since they are in the UK, they fully disclose a lot. Last year, they still had $190 million in reserve. Well, that's very good to hear, John D. And that's something like I said, if you're trying to win over confidence of the audience, then that's how you do it. Transparency is key. I'm about to finish God of War. So hyped. Oh, Nick, it's so good. It's so good. Their goal at the moment is 1,400 employees, which is larger than quite a few major AAA studios. Yeah, that's... I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla was developed by like 3,000 across it. I mean, granted, that was over a few years, and the like each team only worked on the game for maybe a year at a time or 6 months at a time. Financial report. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Almost 60% increase in pledges and subscription income. However, this record-breaking year for new customers and community engagement was unlike those because of COVID. Yeah. Total pledges and income. 2020, they took in $76.9 million in pledges. 4,000. I'm assuming these are in thousands, right? Like 99, yeah, in thousands. So 4.7 million in the, okay. Trading costs, salaries, contracted game dev costs, general admin, not, okay. 1.1 million. CapEx, contracted game dev costs, salaries, related costs, excluding community events and marketing, 43.9 million. That's pretty meaty, though. I mean, that's pretty beefy. Like, obviously, the head honchos are making a pretty penny from this. I mean, clearly it doesn't look like they're just taking the money and running. This isn't an FTX thing. Across 835 employees. I would still say the related costs is what confuses me. Like, you can shove so much stuff in there. Salary costs of our development, managing, and administration staff uplifted for taxes, pensions, and other payroll costs. Okay, that's still extremely vague. Most companies describe it a little more precisely. But again, to their credit, they don't have to disclose this. Maybe in the UK they do, but in the States, you wouldn't normally have to disclose to this level of detail for a privately owned company. Dude, can you imagine if they go public to raise extra money? Can you imagine? Just quickly take in. I mean, if they've raised $500 million, then they probably, like, I don't know what they would value this at, but I mean, easily at this point, they probably value the company at like $1 billion plus. So that would allow them to raise another $1 billion in cash. And then you just like flip that right in. It goes from 500 million to $1 billion and 500 million. I don't think they would ever do that, because the moment they do that, they have shareholders that are going to force them to start releasing stuff, cutting budgets and things. I don't think it fits with their vision. And also they don't really need to, is my understanding from this. Headcount analysis. I mean, this is really good to see. I'm really thankful that they disclosed this, because this is good to see. It's very good to see. And it looks well managed. Like I said, leveraging is always good, but they don't seem to be heavily leveraged at all, which is probably because they don't want to rely on pledges too much, even though they're growing. So props to them. I mean, that's pretty crazy. In the UK, you have to. For a privately owned, for privately owned companies, you have to disclose this. Is it privately owned companies with like 50 plus employees? Is it? Because my understanding is that this is a privately held corporation. Who will voice future Batman games? They're just going to get Troy Baker to do it. Let's be real. He's sworn to himself and everyone is not going public unless it's absolutely necessary for the company to survive. Yeah. For 100 plus employees? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the perk of going public is that you get the cash right up front from the IPO, which is always great. I mean, it's just extra cash. You can do whatever you want with it. But the downside is that you are then beholden to your shareholders, and that doesn't work too well. Yeah, in the UK, I think a lot of it is public on other companies' houses' website. Okay. Most of the development from CIG is extremely transparent except for Squadron 42, which is likely to avoid major spoilers. Is there any word on that? Is that even like in the works? Like actively? Because my understanding is that it's like that's the one where there's a lot of question marks. And I mean, it makes sense that they're keeping it quiet, but my question is just like, most of the effort's going into it. Okay. What's the target age of this game? I mean, pretty clearly to me, it seems to be like adult males, probably age 25 to 50. There's a ton of like they're going after the people who grew up on sci-fi games and have always dreamed of this type of level of exploration. So it's a lot of people who like grew up on Star Wars and like, you know, might have experienced a lot of that in their early childhood, I would assume. Because I mean, if your audience, it's the same thing. Like when sponsors reach out to me, they're only really interested in me if they're also their product line targets young adult males aged like 18 to 35, because that's most of my viewership demographics. There's some really old school guys that play this. That would actually be kind of fun to play with, like an 80-year-old guy who's always been into sci-fi. That actually would be kind of fun. Star Citizen progress tracker. See, this is really cool. I appreciate this. And this seems to be a direct attempt to... Yeah, this seems to be a direct attempt to just increase transparency, which I can really appreciate. 13 deliverables. Render T1. Yeah, like when have you ever seen a company this transparent, even through fundraising? But this is part of it. I think the perception is that Star Citizen doesn't do any of this, because I had never heard of this. I never heard of this. This is insane. Like they break down individual deliverables, facial animation, when they want to hit like each of these, chapter 23, chapter 1, they want to hit these 2 weeks, eliminating iterating chapter 1 of the Squadron single player campaign. That's crazy. I've never seen a company that's doing like a public funding thing like this do anything close to this. This is crazy. Each month they detail pretty much exactly where progress has been made and on what. Yeah, this is where they need to be a little more. Maybe they just need, but I guess it's, I would rather them just keep working than spend money on marketing to distribute this. But if people knew this, I think that the vibe would be much more positive. Monthly reports. Press maybe. I can check that, Jordan. Thank you for the $2. Appreciate you. Press kit, no. Let's see, IG. Here's the monthly report. Thank you, Herobrine. Appreciate you. Okay, AI, refine, Vandal, animate. Yeah, so this is crazy. Detailing all of this stuff. AI tech improvements, animation, characters, engine, gameplay, story, level design, narrative, names, description, strings for a variety of naval uniforms, bespoke weapons. They can adjust lines slightly from how it's written, and it's important to us that subtitles are as accurate as possible. That's good. Oh, speaking of things I didn't include in my reviews, sorry for lying through omission. I did find one line in God of War Ragnarok where the dialogue did not match the subtitles. So, you know, the game of the year consideration was fun while it lasted, but I guess we got to, you know, cut it out. We got to kick it to the curb. Level design, FPS team, one of the larger locations theme that spans multiple chapters. They're closing in on finalizing the last few blockouts on this environment, and gameplay implementation is well underway. They're getting there. I appreciate it. I've never seen a company this transparent with development. That's like actually crazy. Like that's actually insane. Missed the Elden Ring stream. Thoughts on revisiting it? Brandon, it's fun. It's good. It runs pretty well on PC now. I've enjoyed it. Like it's kind of like Breath of the Wild though. Like I don't think I can go back to it and experience it again with the same level of like hype, because it's just different. It's different now, you know. Roger, thank you again.
Random Roger donated $5 through Super Chat. There's somewhere on the site that shows exactly where all the money is going specifically.
Yeah, I like some of these kind of break it down. These are for like patches and things that they're introducing. But But yeah, I mean, at this point, I totally believe that there's a lot more. Vincent, majority of developers making Scratch for most of my life comes from Star Citizen. That's actually basic criticism. I've played Star Citizen, not Squadron. Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in Squadron 42. What I will say is that the gunplay that's currently in Star Citizen is not compelling enough, I think, to push me through a narrative game. So they would have to make some pretty major improvements over what's in the game now. Because let's be real, what's in the game right now in terms of gunplay, it's also mostly tied up in performance, is like pretty rough. Um, 60 FPS Breath of the Wild, dude, that's a dream come true. Oh, why do I have two Google Chromes at the bottom of the PC? One is my personal, this one, and then one is just for streaming. Because what I realized was that like all of my personal bookmarks, all of the random stuff that I use in my day-to-day personal life was on my personal profile. And I was like, I don't like really want that. Like, let's just have a profile that's just for streaming. And when I do like film videos and stuff, why not? So one of them is personal, one of them's for streaming. Have I used emulators? Yeah, like I said earlier, I may or may not have a totally legitimate copy of The Simpsons Hit and Run running through an emulator on this computer. Maybe not. Maybe. Who knows?
Jason A. donated $5 through Super Chat.
Thank you, my friend.
I've lived in fear of you touching this game because of how incomplete and buggy it is. But thanks for being 100% fair.
Yeah, Jason, I appreciate that. And I would not recommend it to everybody, but I have been pleasantly surprised with what is here. And I think as long as you go into it with the understanding that this is a work in progress and that you are paying it just like for early access, you're buying into a game that doesn't technically exist, hasn't fully released yet. So it's not like a thing. I think you can still have a lot of fun with it, but it's not fully released. And as long as you understand that, then I think you can have a good time with it. But you certainly should not spend crazy amounts of money on it. Unless you are somebody who can afford to just kind of toss money wherever you are passionate on whatever hobbies. Like, have you guys ever seen some of this? The House of Staunton. Like I've said before, I used to play chess competitively. I would fly around the country doing like tournaments and all sorts of stuff. One of my dreams, I know this is an insane dream, but one of my dreams was to one day own, I'm going to show you, where is it? Here, was to own this chess set. You're about to see something so overkill, it's insane. Look at that. It's a nice chess set, right? Nice pieces, looks good. How much do you think this costs? Put in chat real quick. What's your guess on this price? How much do you think this is? Oh, Hero Brian, don't be like that. Okay. 40K, 3K, 15, 5K, 5K, 25, 60, $500. Can't be over 2K, 10K. It's made out of mammoth ivory. That might sound like a branding name. No, ivory is outlawed from like elephants and stuff because of poachers. So the only ivory you can now sell and trade in the States is from woolly mammoths. Woolly mammoths. You know, like these things that are extinct and haven't existed on the planet in like ever. Like, I think the last ones were very tiny and they lived on a random island up by Siberia like 4,500 years ago is when the last ones died out. But like the American mammoth and all those, these things have not existed in a very long time. And that's what this chess set is made out of. The ivory from those mammoths. This one with a 4.4-inch king is $13,000. So is this one. This is a different cut and a slightly different stain. And this one is much more affordable. I think they swap out the pieces. The black pieces are slightly different, but this one is $8,500. But one of my dreams, as stupid as it was to own one of these mammoth ivory sets. I was like, when I become a billionaire, I'm going, but it's free shipping. Yeah. One of my dreams when I was a billionaire was to own one of these chess sets. Playing chess with woolly mammoth ivory. Like the ivory, these pieces are made of ivory that grew on a creature before chess was invented, before modern humans walked the earth. Like that's crazy. Right? That's wild. That's wild. Layaway is available. That's good. So like all hand carved, you would hope so, right? It's very, very, very luxurious, and it's made off of the 1849 Celine Imperial Staunton design. Yeah, it's mammoth ivory is evacuated from the permafrost of the Siberian tundra, which the woolly mammoth inhabited for more than 160,000 years. During the last ice age, the mammoth went extinct as a direct result. There, like I said, there's a mini version of the mammoth that's like the size of a small pony, and those things lived on a couple of random islands, but the big boy mammoths died off in the last ice age, like way far long ago. Yeah, over the last few years, the price of mammoth ivory has more than doubled, due largely to the unprecedented demand for luxury goods. This trend is expected to continue. Less than 1% of the mammoth ivory harvested is suitable quality for the manufacturing of chess pieces, making these exquisite chessmen a rare treasure to behold. Yeah, this is something like a millionaire investor would buy. Yeah, this is one of those sets that I would set up in the living room, and then Lockie, little baby, would come and grab it, and I'd find him chewing on one of the pieces. Like, you're chewing on a woolly mammoth's tusks. Please stop it. Please stop. So yeah, that's a little crazy. This is a little wacky. But the point is, and the reason I bring this up is because this is something, if you have a hobby of chess, you like playing chess, and you are freaking loaded out the ass, you could buy this. If you have the money to buy this, that's freaking cool. Hans used these to beat Magnus. Yeah, exactly. Like you could do this, and it would be super cool, and it would be a great conversation starters. It would be in some ways, I think that this actually could be qualified as an investment, because it's like fine art, really, at the end of the day. I bet Magnus owns this. I think Magnus probably was sent this. I don't think Magnus would even have to pay for it, though he could afford it. Magnus is quite rich. But like this is a really cool thing. Lots of people would find this freaking stupid. It's just an NFT. It's a non-fungible token, dude. But like this alone is like ridiculous to own. But if you have the money to do it, more power to you, right? More power to you. Dude, House of Staunton has some luxurious things. Luxury wooden chessboards. What's their most expensive? Yeah, chess tables, custom made, signature, luxury. Yeah, $6,000 chessboard. Bird's eye maple. I mean, these things are gorgeous, but freaking expensive. Oh, it's broken. Oh, there we go. Oh, man. The most expensive chess set I ever played with was like a $5,000 chess set. And it was nice. It was nice. It was one of those, though, like Bobby Fischer, he famously would be really offended. Like when you're playing a game of chess, the understanding is like nowadays, who cares? Like if you're playing and you have the board is the phone and this is the piece, you can pick it up, move it to the next square. Who cares? Bobby Fischer would grow so pissed off, he would storm out of the tournament. If you went like this, and if the piece, the bottom of the piece lifted off the board, he considered that to be a disgusting insult. Like it would be like playing chess with a nice chess piece or chess set while like eating fried chicken with greasy fingers. Like he just found it repulsive. Like for Bobby Fischer, you always slid the pieces and maintain them flat on the board. If you tilted it, he considered that an insult. He was also a crazy anti-Semitic, like Holocaust denier too, but that's kind of a separate issue. Dude was out of his mind. Like you should look up Bobby Fischer at the end. Dude was insane. He lost his actual mind. What's the difference between spending 20K on a chess game versus 20K on a space game? What I'm saying is that if you've got the money to do it, go for it. I'm one of those people, like, I don't think anybody, if you're wealthy, I think there is something to be said for like helping out your community and kind of giving back to the society that helped build your wealth. I think that that's extremely noble. But I don't think anybody's obligated or obliged rather to your wealth, right? So like if you have the money to spend $50 on Star Citizen and you want to do that, go for it. If you have $50 to spend on a nice chess set to play chess, go for it. I'm not going to judge you for that. I might tease you, but I'm not going to like call you a bad person. You know, like if you buy a $13,000 chess set, I might say like, you could have bought a car, dude. You could have bought me a car. You know, I'll tease you. I'll poke fun at you, but like, I'm not going to call you a bad person. I don't think there's anything wrong with you for doing that. I'll judge you. I got you. Oh, thanks, Brandon. Yeah. See, you guys always come in clutch. Yeah, Hero Brian. Sorry, we bounce around a lot. Luke, buy me a car. Thanks, Smiley. You wouldn't even let me, even if I tried. But with Star Citizen, if you buy a ship when it's still a concept, that's the cheapest time to buy it. So you get that fear of missing out that they take advantage of. Well, absolutely not going to mistake. Like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. After like a decade of doing this, they are masters of taking advantage of the FOMO, for sure. Hound. Oh, well, good to know. Good to know. Chess is more worthwhile because it's a sport you can earn money from. It is true. I actually, my first ever like MacBook Pro, I got, I think it would have been freshman year of high school or the equivalent, however old that is. And that I bought using winnings from chess tournaments because I would go. My dad was just glad to have me playing chess and not like doing drugs or anything. So he would pay my entry fee, usually like $20, $30. And then if there was prize money, I would get to keep the prize money. And so he'd take me to these tournaments and I'd buy in for the, the 20, 30 bucks. And then if you get first place at some of these smaller tournaments, it's still like 500 bucks is the prize pot. I mean, I don't even know what let's see. I don't know if it's more or less nowadays. Okay, like the Denver Open. Website Denver Chess. Some of these tournaments can actually have pretty meaty. Denver Open, that looks right. FIDE rated. Championship, first prize, $1,000. Second is $750. Third is $500. First prize in the under 2200 is $600. Under 1800 is $450. Pretty meaty prizes for a small tournament. The U.S. Open chess tournament. These things can start to throw some serious money. Oh, these are like the winners. I don't think it's gonna say, but I think it's like $100,000. That'll do. That'll do. But then again, if you're really good at Star Citizen and you play it a lot, just start like a YouTube channel or a stream and you might be making good money. By the way, $700,000 were spent in the first hour of IAE starting. Dude, that's ridiculous. Invest in crypto. Meme, are you trying to trigger me? Are you trying to trigger me? I've said so many times, I'm like, crypto is not an investment. It's speculation, like by definition. Start drop shipping businesses. I saw on TikTok, it's a very valid business. It's ridiculous. If you get your small business advice from TikTok, stop. You could say the same thing, like you're watching a gaming YouTuber trying to give you business advice. Don't take anybody's advice. Go ask like a professor or read a book. Why do they have a separate women's chess championship? Jason, for whatever reason, this is like weirdly controversial for whatever reason, but women's chess masters tend to max out around 2600, 2650 in terms of rating from FIDE. Very few, I think one or two women players have hung around 2700 for a while. But the best male players on the planet, like, the Magnus Carlsen types, those are playing around 2850 to 2900. Like they're crazy high rated. So some people say it's because more women don't play chess. It's not seen as like a feminine sport. So they just don't mess with it. Other people say that there's like a biological difference where men land on the extremes. Women tend to be like smart, but not like really stupid or really, really freaking smart, like super genius. Whereas men much more often end up on one end of the extreme. They either end up brilliant or there's a lot more of us that are freaking dumb as hell. So what it is, who knows? Whatever the cause is, whatever. But the tendency has been that female players tend to be a limited or tend to play at lower levels than the top tier male players. To me, it makes sense. I've seen a lot more freaking dumb as a rock men than I've seen dumb as a rock women. So it makes sense to me that there's probably like men end up on the extremes a lot more than they land in the middle, whereas women end up in the middle more than they end up on like the extreme of being super stupid. Maybe I'm just not around stupid women a lot, but like I haven't seen a lot of really stupid women. Most women I know are like actually pretty sharp. Woman. Men also have a factor reaction time. I don't know how that, like, high level chess seems to be mostly tied up in memory. They've done CT scans where they scan the top players' brains while having them evaluate like chess positions and stuff. And like tournament level players, like 1800 level players, actively think and are trying to like come up with ideas very actively. Whereas top level players, almost all of it takes place in memory. Where they're remembering previous games that other masters have played and then comparing it and, you know, doing all of that. It's really interesting. In 3 hours, IAE has generated 1.2 million. Oh, Jesus, man. I'm in the wrong business. For real. Like, I thought the ships looked kind of cool. I don't know if I would look at those ships and be like, I need to spend money on them. I mean, I could see how the Kraken, if you're in deep and if you're a whale and you've got, like, you're a millionaire and you're just like swimming in cash, I could see buying the Kraken. I could see that, especially if you're in pretty deep. If you've got a squad, I could see that. I'm not saying you should, but I can see why somebody who's already spent thousands of dollars would buy that. Best chess player ever, according to me. I like, honestly, if we're just saying like who would beat every other top player in history, I think Magnus does. But Magnus also grew up in a different time. Like, I don't think you can compare like Fischer to Magnus, because Fischer was like, he was doing opening prep with books, like paper books, whereas Magnus has supercomputers and he can look up databases and, you know, he can see what another grandmaster played in 1908 in a small coffee shop in 30 seconds. Luke, I'm being harassed by not taking free games from you. Help me. No, you deserve this. So I just think it's different, but I think you have to say Magnus. I think you have to say Magnus. He's just on another level, but it's also because of the time that he's playing in. Him versus like prime time Kasparov would have been really interesting and really close, because Kasparov was just a wild attacking player, and that could have been really interesting to see. Fischer, my understanding is that Fischer, when his rating is adjusted, is nowhere near top level players nowadays. Like, top level players right now play in like the 2800 level, 28 to 2850. Bobby Fischer never played above like 2720. Bro, chess lore is wild. It's like a FromSoft game. Yeah, dude, for real. Or like Bobby Fischer's just one of the most interesting people because he was out of his mind from a very young age. They would have made movies about him, but he is obviously not a super likable character by the end of the story. Like, he started like this, just a young American go-getter, just a good-looking fella playing chess. He's a prodigy from a young age, but he like disappeared for like 40 years. Nobody found him. Then he came back out of nowhere, started playing games, and he was relatively well. I mean, he was playing well, but he also pissed off a lot of stuff. He became super anti-American. He celebrated when 9/11 happened after being like everybody's favorite American hero when he beat Boris Spassky. And then you see at the end, like, he just turned into a raging lunatic. Like I said earlier, like, he was a Holocaust denier. He was big into like the protocols of the Elders of Zion. He was out of his mind. He just snapped. And it's fascinating. If you ever can watch a documentary on Bobby Fischer, I recommend it. It's fascinating because you see him go from like a very just intelligent and like creative and brilliant young man, and then over the course of his life, he just slowly lost his mind and went insane. Not a little insane, like total crazy. What is it with chess players and Holocaust? Is that a thing? I haven't been following it super closely over the last like 5-6 years as I've been doing the YouTube thing, but I used to follow it very, very closely. Is that a thing? Are there other big name players who say that kind of thing? That's crazy. Yeah, they tend to go nuts. Child prodigies, it seems to be a common thing. Rocky just sent this and said poggers. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's last content update hits December 6th. Couldn't have come soon enough. I don't know, man. I tried going back into it. I don't find any joy from it. Zero pleasure is derived from playing Valhalla. Zero. I'm just not about it. I've tried. It's just not for me. Nikki is going through it. She still hasn't finished it. You guys remember I started talking about Nikki playing Valhalla like 2 months ago, 3 months ago? We were still on Twitch when she started Valhalla. She still is trying to finish it. And she's not having fun. Like, it's miserable. It's a chore. Bless Valhalla needs to be put down the ground and left in the dark. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see when they eventually release Mirage. We'll see what the hell happens there. I don't have my hopes up. Yeah, Petrus, you're absolutely right. That's why he created Fischer Random. And I think he's right. Opening prep for, like, on the Grandmaster level is a joke. It's ridiculous. You get a computer and you prep out 25 moves. Really removes the joy from it. It's just all about memorization. That's why I find Blitz and Rapid way more interesting to watch nowadays than the Super GM 8-hour games, you know? Because they always end up so dry. Thoughts on this? Oh, they're doing another Tomb Raider game. I don't know, Tomb Raider, they've just never been able to get Tomb Raider to blow up quite to the same level that Uncharted did, even though Tomb Raider inspired Uncharted. You know, like they should be the kings that are like that Uncharted is trying to live up to, but Uncharted overtook it by so much. They just have never really put it together and been able to manage it. I'm pretty sure Crystal Dynamics, they're the ones that did Avengers. And that wasn't great. I don't know. Cyberpunk 2077 mod lets players dabble in the stock market. Oh. It's like the GTA 5 thing. Could I score on the great Keanu Reeves? Keanu Reeves, that's funny. The mod is set to introduce a completely new system in the game, which will see every PC now come with a stocks tab that logs the corporate fortunes of 33 in-game companies, including Budget Arms, Kaukas, NCPD, and it's so perfect that NCPD is corporate, like it's a corporation that's traded on the stock exchange. It's so great. Best part about it, all the missions and side quests that you undertake, the outcome of those can affect stock prices, which could be terrible news if you're not clever with your finances. I love that. That's brilliant. One of my biggest critiques of Cyberpunk, even now, is that it's too hard to earn money. And a lot of the augmentations that are the coolest things to have with, I mean, you know, the type, you go to the Ripper Dock and you get just totally kitted out. Some of the coolest stuff is so expensive, 95% of players will never touch them. Because they'll get through the main story and then the game will end and they're like, oh, okay, I'm good. Even though you have to put a further 50 hours into it. So if you could actually do this and make a good chunk of change pretty quickly, I love that. And it requires resourceful. It makes you think about what's going on in the story, what missions are going to affect the stock prices. I love that. So just install the legendary only drop mod. That I mean, that would fix the problem. It might introduce another one, but yeah, it would fix the problem. So that's really interesting. I might just install that. I think I have to copy it over to my personal browser to do it, to install it. You see, I got Vortex. I have my Vortex ready to go. But given the percentage of city budgets police make up currently in the U.S., it's not that far of a probability. Sad day. Yeah, for real, dude. For real. I just realized, Rocky, I'm very sorry. We didn't touch on the news topics at all, and Lachlan's about to wake up from his nap, so I've got to go prep him a snack and everything. So I guess we'll just roll news stories over to Monday, and we'll kind of get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you everybody for joining me. I appreciate you. Oh, well, it worked out perfectly, Rocky. There you go. So thank you everybody for joining me. This was fun. Just a nice little joyous romp in the Star Citizen hay. Thank you everybody. Roger also coming in clutch. I think Roger donated well over $100 all told. Like, that's extremely generous. Just extremely generous. So thank you to everybody, not just Roger, but everybody that donated, but special thanks to Roger. Very generous. We're going to be back Monday streaming, rocking and rolling, sort of back to our regularly scheduled programming. We'll have news stories. I don't know what we'll play, but my goal is to make the Star Citizen thing, we'll pop in pretty regularly. I'm not saying every week, but maybe once or twice a month. And one thing we want to try are introducing community nights and also member-only streams where we play games with you guys. So if somebody was asking about Warzone 2, we'll be doing stuff like, if you want to come out to the members-only stream, like anybody in that stream can join the party and stuff like that. So we'll actually play with you and have fun there. So it'll be super cool. But everybody who came out, thank you again. Appreciate every single one of you. You guys are all great. Thanks for the great conversations. Great hangout. Hopefully you had fun. I'll be back on Monday. Hugs and kisses. Go check out the video that went up just today on Miles Morales on PC. That's a good one. And look forward to Monday morning when we will have a review posted for an upcoming game that a lot of you I know are excited for. That's pretty meh. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.